Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku bonds beyond explosions. Bakugou's Unexpected Connections Part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see Part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content. And leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. So let's start the video. Here's a simple truth. All men are not created equal. This is a truth I learned about society at the age of 4. He put up his fists to me, standing in my way like he was going to somehow stop me. Why are you being so mean, Kaken? You already made him cry. If you don't stop hurting him, I'll stop you myself. And I had to laugh a little. So Deku, the quirkless wonder, wants to play hero? Huh, I guess that sounds mean, doesn't it? Like I was some kind of bullying bad kid. Truth is, what I am is a chosen one. I'm one of those few who can stand up with pro heroes, toe to toe. Let me explain. The first incident was in Qianqing City, China, with news of the birth of a miraculous child who radiated light. Shortly thereafter, similar phenomena popped up all over the world. The trigger for these newfound powers was never determined. But as time progressed, what was once extraordinary became ordinary. Dreams became reality. Of the planet's population, around 80% have developed unique abilities, or quirks. We have entered a new age, a society of superhuman. In this world whirling in chaos, a certain profession that used to exist only in daydreams has stepped into the limelight. That of the hero. Third year in middle school at Mustafa. Stifling April day. Classroom full of noisy losers I've known for years with nothing quirks. And the teacher at the head of the room, saying it's time to start thinking seriously about your careers. But let's face it, I don't even have to ask. I'm guessing you all want to be heroes. You all. Talking to me like what? Lumping me in with my class full of low quirk losers with no potential whatsoever. Teach, don't throw me in the same bag with them. As if I had anything like their crappy quirks. What? My classmates who can pull out their eyeballs or blow up their faces, and they think they're gonna be heroes with powers like that? Are they high? Get over yourself, Katsuki, says some loser whose name I don't even know. Shut up. Extras should act like extras. I snap back. I mean, what else are these losers but extras in the background of life? Teach goes on with, you want to go to UA, right Bakugou? The national school. They've got like a 3% acceptance rate, don't they? They barely accept anyone. Huh, like that's any problem for me. The stupid chattering of extras. I aced the mock exam. I'm the only one here with the stuff for UA. I'll end up more powerful than All Might himself. My name will be inscribed in the lists of the top earners. I'll be the new #1 hero. I know it, too. No doubt about it. I'll be the only kid from this dumb loser school to go to UA. The one to be the new #1, the 1-0, and Midoriya, don't you want to go to UA too? It's like my world stops turning. The extras are laughing, but it's just background noise. I turn around to look, in case this is some kind of joke. To get a look at him. Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya. Deku. Growing up, my favorite hero was, still is, All Might. He's the #1, the greatest hero of all time. I'd watch these videos of him, all the time. There's one I love, where he's up against this horde of villains. You see that just now. All Might's the greatest. 4 against 1, you think he'd lose for sure, right? But look, see. Dodge and then punch. No, it's a feint. And, look, he wins. No matter how much trouble he's in, he always wins in the end. That's what it means, you see, to be a great hero. You have to be strong enough, powerful enough, that nobody can ever beat you. To win against impossible odds and take out any loser villains who try and make trouble. And to do that, you need a strong quirk. You need to fight and train and work your ass off to be strong enough, powerful enough, that no loser can ever hope to take you down. I've always been good at things. I can kick ball. I could read kanji before half the kids in my grade were past hiragana. My grades are the best in class. I can skip stones and overcome odds. I was always the leader of our little group. You see, there's nothing I can't do. When I was 4 years old, I got myself the strongest quirk there is. Mine's called Explosion. A nice little fusion of mom and dad's quirks. I give out nitroglycerin sweat and make it blow up. Everyone told me, from day 1 on. What a fantastic quirk. It's a flashy power. For a future hero, Katsuki. It'll be easy to become a hero with a power like that. Makes sense, you see. I'm awesome. I'm better than everyone else. I was born that way. Like I said, not everyone is created equal. Like damn Deku there. Oh, who is he, you ask? One day I was fighting off a group of big bullying 4th grade losers. This was before I got some quirk, BTW. I was kicking ass and taking names long before I could blow up a building with one hand. My usual fan club, bat wings and hands guy. They ran up to me and started congratulating me, like they should. And I suddenly realized someone else was watching me. Behind a tree, staring at me, was this tiny little kid with wild green hair and gigantic green eyes, smiling like crazy at me, looking at me like he thought I was the greatest thing to ever walk the earth. I'm used to people thinking I'm cool, of course, but he was different. Not sure why. I'm not sure why. But I wanted him to like me more than the others. And he did, you know. He was always running around praising me, following after me. But thing is, I think it was because Deku, he's an even bigger loser than everyone else. He can't do anything, really. Oh sure, he gets good grades. He's nice and good to people and full of energy. And likes All Might like any sane person should, just a little less than I do, but he can't do anything physical. He's a loser who trips over his own feet. He's no good for anything at all. And when he turned 4 it turned out, he didn't even get a quirk at all. He's got no powers whatsoever. He's a quirkless, useless loser. That's why I started calling him Deku. It's a version of his name. Izuku means a puppet, a loser, someone who's no good at anything. Because it's true, you see. No point in calling someone something they're not. I'm the best, the elite, the strongest hero candidate from this crappy school, and Deku is the lowest. He's no good, and he thinks he's gonna go to UA. Good grades alone can't get you into the hero course. All the extras are laughing, and Deku is talking. They got rid of that rule. There's just no precedent. I jumped over to his desk and slammed it with a good explosion, knocking him over. You damn nerd. You're worse than the rejects. You're a quirkless wannabe, and you think you can stand in the same ring as me. There he was, kneeling on the floor, back to the wall, looking scared and freaked. Wait, no, that's not it, Kakin. I'm not trying to compete with you or anything. It's just ... It's been my dream since I was little. And there's no harm in trying, is there? Try. You're taking the entrance exam just to try. What can you even do? I screamed at him, getting more and more frustrated. And he said nothing, just stared at the floor. Like usual, you see, he's useless. There's nothing he can do. The teacher shooed us all back to our seats, and class went on, but I couldn't get that damn nerd off of my mind. I kept thinking it over. How damn insane he is to even try and think of this. What the hell is wrong with him? After class, I cornered him, grabbed his notebook off his desk. Written on it is Hero Analysis for the Future, book number 13. Seriously, he's writing notes about how to be some great hero. We're not done yet, Deku, I said, standing over him. Without hesitation, I went in for it and blew the notebook to pieces. Hey, that's mean, he says feebly. I tossed the damn thing through the window. They say that all heroes have great stories about their childhoods. Stories about who they were, signs of greatness even back then. I'm going to be the first one from this crappy school to make it into UA. I'm a perfectionist. I want that title for myself. He isn't even paying me attention, too damn occupied with his precious notebook. Grabbing his attention once and for all, I leaned over and grabbed his shoulder, preparing for an explosion. Don't apply, you damn nerd. Got it. And he doesn't say a damn thing. At least try to say something, says extra number 4 as we go to leave. He can't. It's so pathetic that even in 3rd year, he still can't face reality, says extra number 3. Something in me just snapped as they were chattering. It felt like I still hadn't said enough because he hadn't conceded. Deku, he's like that, you see. Stubborn as hell. You know, if you really want to be a hero, there might be another way. Pray you'll be born with a quirk in your next life and take a swan dive off the roof of the building. Now he's pissed, turning to glare at me. I ready my hand, like I'm really gonna fight him, and he just backs off and does nothing. I know, it sounds mean, but it's true. There is no such thing as a quirkless hero. Like, how the hell else could a quirkless loser like Deku become a hero, unless he got one in his next life? I mean, there's just no other way. I mean, that's the truth, isn't it? There's no other way around it. I kept saying that to myself. Me and the extras were walking downtown after school, and they brought it up and asked me, weren't you guys childhood friends? You were a little harsh with him today. I'm not wrong. I don't make mistakes and screw up. I know that. I'm right and I know it. No way I made any kind of mistake or was too harsh or wrong. It's him. It's his fault for getting in my way. Seeing him so full of stupid dreams like when we were kids just pisses me off. I exploded the can in my hand in rage. That's Deku, you know. We've always been around each other and I know him. I know him better than these extras do. Better than anyone else probably. He's this stubborn little nobody who talks a lot of big talk about how great he is and can't do anything to back it up, unlike me. Nobody can hey Katsuki. The extras are yelling at me, pointing behind me. Something's casting a shadow over me. This giant mass of pungent sludge wrapped itself around my entire body like being plunged into quicksand. Arms and legs and face and neck. All of a sudden I couldn't breathe, as toxic sludge invaded my mouth and nose and could barely move. The extras were running. I could see through the one eye left exposed. I like me a meat sack with some fire. Hisses a gross-sounding voice in my ear, and it hits me. This is some villain. Some villain's horrible quirk that's trying to swallow me alive. Like he could. As if I'd let myself be absorbed by some damn slimy bastard. I set off my quirk. 2 good quick explosions, one from each hand, waiting to see the sludge go flying off of me. It doesn't. It just squeezes of my hands tighter and projects my blasts off of it into the surrounding area. Everything's catching fire. I can register around me that pro heroes are gathering. They were already around here from some incident earlier today. Kamui Woods, that damn tree hero, is grabbing the extras and pulling them to safety. Mount Lady, that growing heroine, can't get in close enough because the lane's too narrow. Fireman Hero and Death Arms, all of them are standing back and doing nothing. They won't jump in to do anything about it, because let's face it, what are they going to do? It doesn't matter. I don't need a hero to save me, because I'm strong enough. I have to be strong enough that nobody can ever mess with me. The #1 greatest hero always wins in the end. It's useless. No one here can stop it. We can only wait for someone with the right quirk to come along. Damn useless pros. No wonder they ain't in All Might's league. A real hero can always win. Always break out of a tough spot. That's what All Might says. I've got to do something. I'm me, you know. This can't be happening to me. Can't be. The damn villain is just absorbing me more and more, and everything I do to make it go away just makes it worse. I'm trying everything I can think of. My quirk, my strength, everything, but nothing's helping. I can't breathe. And it occurs to me all of a sudden that I'm gonna fucking die. I can't breathe for shit. This thing isn't letting go and nobody is doing anything, and there's nothing I can do. I can't beat this guy. I can't stop him. He's still on me and I can't beat him. He's gonna kill me. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. You idiot, stop. You're gonna get yourself killed. Some pro hero, Death Arms, is yelling out. I can hear it through the sludge. And I can just see now, running from the midst of the crowd, straight into the fiery inferno and looking absolutely terrified. There he is, Deku, running from out of nowhere straight at me, with nothing but his school backpack, running straight into the fray at a villain that I can't do a damn thing against, right at me like he's looking to die. He throws his backpack at the villain's eye and then he's right in front of me, grabbing at the sludge. My mouth is free and I can breathe and I can scream. Why? Why are you here? I don't know. My legs just started moving. Because ... your face, you look like you needed help. You look like you needed help. Deku, looking down at me after I'd slipped and fallen into a creek, holding out his hand like he thought he could save me. Deku, you see. He looks down on me. I know it. He's a nobody. He's got nothing. No power, no skills that could make him any stronger than me, but still, no matter what I do, he always comes back. He looks down on me. He thinks he's better than me. He acts like he knows. He smiles like he's taunting me. No matter what I say or what I do, he thinks he can save me. Like I need saving. Like I'm no good and he believes he's better than me. Stop it, is all I can barely say to him, before the villain covers my face up again and raises a hand, knocking Deku back. He's ready to smash him. I can't move or do a damn thing, because this villain creep, he's going to kill him. My own worst nightmare is playing out right in front of me. Deku's gonna get himself killed because he thinks I'm just not good enough. I wanted him to look at me like everyone else. I've wanted him to believe in me, like everyone else does, and stop looking down at me. But he doesn't. He thinks he's better than me even though he isn't. And I'm gonna get him killed. I really am pathetic. I told you the traits that make a great champion, but I realize I wasn't living up to my own ideals. That booming, powerful voice is suddenly echoing around us. Grabbing my hand and his, intertwined together, is a hand that's larger than either of our heads. Towering over us is the man, the legend. He is here. All Might. Pros are always risking their lives. That's the true test of a hero, he says. And with a punch, the villain is gone. I can breathe. Deku and me are on the ground as the air swirls around us, and everything is abruptly over as All Might stands over us. The legend, my favorite, our favorite, hero is there in person. The pros cleaned up all the scattered sludge, carried him to the police station. The pros who'd been on the scene were swarming around me, complimenting me on being brave. What great strength, what a cool quirk, says some extra pro. If you become a pro, I'd love to make you my sidekick. It's all white noise to me, because there's something kind of off. I can't explain it, but hearing all this praise for once, it doesn't feel like my due. It feels just plain wrong. Like I really shouldn't be getting all the credit. I mean, yeah, All Might was the one who saved me, and he's getting plenty of credit. But over to the other side, the pros are yelling at Deku, chastising him for being dumb enough to run into danger without a plan and do nothing and get himself killed. And they're right, of course. They're absolutely right. No need. I had it. I would've. Something is very wrong here, says some part of my head. I can't stop thinking about it. Like always, I can't stop thinking about him. Did he actually? Did he somehow? Quirkless, nobody, loser Deku. Did he somehow ... save me? No way. No way that's even possible. How could he? Why would he? I found him walking home. I know where he lives. Used to play there all the time. Back before I realized Deku didn't like me. That he thought I was the loser and acted like he could save me. Hey, Deku. I yelled at him. He turned around. He didn't look happy. I have to make sure he gets it. I never asked you to help me. I didn't need your help at all. Got it. I can take care of myself. I don't owe you anything, got that? Got it. I had to tell him. He had to hear me. Damn nerd. He didn't say anything. Just kept straight on looking at me, and I had to turn away and just get the EFF out of there. I didn't know at the time what was really going on that day. I don't know what would have happened if I'd decided to go back and tell him off again, or if I'd missed my mark by a moment. Things might have been different, but things changed around for me that day. Suddenly I was this famous kid who survived a villain attack before even starting high school, a future pro, someone to keep an eye on. Like at long last, my dream was really coming to pass. 'Cause you see, this is my story about how I become the world's greatest hero. I've always known, you see, that was what I was destined to be. If you want to get into UA, you have to be the best of the best. You have to work out every day and do everything you can to be strong. Your quirk must be mastered, your grades must be the top of the top, and your body must be trained to absolute perfection. I keep up a regular routine for all these things. I'm not much for socializing, really. My life is preparing for my great future. I'm from the Shizuoka prefecture. The old man and the old hag, they work at some fashion corporation, so we're not badly off. Our house is nice, see. We don't do anything halfway. Nothing but the best. Except my crappy middle school, of course. I have no idea how I ended up in such a lame place. Senior year, it never seemed to end. I honestly felt like I was doing nothing but waiting for the damn entrance exam to UA to finally arrive. The entrance exam that I would be taking with Deku. Ever since the day of the sludge villain, I haven't talked with Deku. He's still around. He still thinks he's gonna get to UA, somehow, but there's no point telling him off anymore. Or you just owe him, because he saved your life from that villain. That weird voice in my head says, he's always tired these days. Just because I'm not talking to him doesn't mean I don't notice him. He always comes to class exhausted, and often looking like he showered quickly before class. Slowly but surely, I've noticed the difference in the locker rooms. In the summer, in gym class, he's been putting on muscle, like he's actually working out, to try and be better. Months go by and suddenly he's got strong, athletic arms. Suddenly he's sporting a defined chest and abs, like he never had before. I don't know why, but it's like he's found some kind of inner fire. It suddenly occurs to me that I've been spending way too much time thinking about Deku's body. I need to think about something else. It's entrance exam day and we're there. He's the only one from my school. The only other idiot who'd bother to go for UA. He looks as jumpy as always. Get out of my way, Deku. I yell at him. Best get out of my way. He jumps away. Hey, good morning, let's both do our best. He speed talks at me, like we are friends or equals or something. I get by him as fast as possible. People are gossiping about me already, recognizing me from the sludge villain incident. Who cares, though, if that's what they know me from? Not important, really. Welcome to today's live performance. Everybody say hey. Way too many extras, all sitting together in the giant auditorium listening to that. Present Mike, explaining what we had to do. And nobody said a thing. Then the dude recovers and tries for it again. Well, that's cool, my examinee listeners. I'm here to present the guidelines of your practical. Are you ready? Deku was next to me. We're the only ones from our school apply. Everyone was sitting with their schools, so of course he was seated next to me. That was all, you see. Nothing more. He was babbling, and it was annoying me. Oh my god, it's the voice hero Present Mike. I listen to his radio every single week. This is incredible. That all the professors at UA are real pro heroes, I can't believe it. All of this came gushing out of his mouth like sheer word vomit. Dunno how he does it, but someone had to say it. Shut it. He didn't hear me, of course. Never does anything I tell him to. Meanwhile, Mike was still babbling about the rules. This is how the test will go, my listeners. You'll be experiencing 10-minute-long mock sit escape maneuvers. Bring along whatever you want. After the presentation, you'll each head to your assigned location, 𝐴𝐷. We had cards with our designated number passed around. I waited for mine and started fantasizing about the day ahead. The task Mike had sent us. Simple enough. Beat up bad guys and win points. I could only imagine how fun it would be to show off how much better I was than Deku. We looked down at the cards we'd been sent. They don't intend on letting friends and classmates cooperate with each other? Huh? I asked, as I couldn't help but notice Deku's center assignment was different from mine. They gave us serial numbers, but different assignment centers, he said, saying just what I'd been thinking. Don't look at my card, damn it. I was looking forward to crushing you, I threw at him. He jumped a little. Mike was still talking, of course, lecturing us some more on the damn rules. Each site is filled with 3 kinds of faux villains. Points are awarded for defeating each according to their respective difficulty levels. Use your quirks to disable these faux villains and earn points. That's your goal, listeners. Of course, playing the antihero and attacking other examinees is prohibited. Damn, thrashing all those extras ... that would have been a blast. Suddenly then, some dude in an uptight suit with one of those really finicky voices was raising his hand. May I ask a question? There appear to be no fewer than 4 varieties of faux villain on this handout. Such blatant error, if it is one, is hardly becoming for UA, Japan's top academy. We're all here today in the hopes of being molded into model heroes. Wow, I thought. What an uptight loser. All of a sudden he was pointing in our direction, but not at me. And you with the curly hair. You've been muttering this whole time. It's distracting. If this is some sort of game to you, then please leave immediately. Deku jumped, slapped his hands over his mouth, and mumbled sorry. I'd been telling Deku to shut up only a minute earlier, but feeling like I had anything in common with this uptight weirdo made me reconsider. This guy made Deku look easy. Mike was answering. All right, examinee number 7111, nice catch. Thanks, but the fourth faux villain variety gets you 0 points. He's more of an obstacle. There's one at each site, a gimmick that'll rampage around in close quarters. Think of it as a gimmick you should try to avoid. It's not that it can't be beaten, but there's kind of no point. That's all for now. I'll leave my listeners with our school motto. The great hero Napoleon Bonaparte once said true heroism consists of overcoming the ills of life. Now say it with me, plus, ultra. And just like that, the moment was finally here. I was whisked away, gave Deku one last look. Probably one of the last looks I'd ever give him, I figured. Hell, no way he was passing this test, quirkless little loser. After our graduation, I'd never have to put up with him again. The entrance test site was a mock city, huge and expansive, filled to the brim with wide-open alleyways. The perfect spot to just let loose. This would be a piece of cake. Just as easy as I'd always known it would be. 𝐾𝐬𝐴TSUKI. Your results are here. The old hag went shouting her loud mouth off at me, flapping the damn envelope in my face. The tape inside was heavy, some kind of film strip. When I tore it open, All Might's face was suddenly staring me in the eye. I am here to tell you, he sure could talk too. What I got from him was that he was gonna be teaching at UA. Finally, everything I'd ever wanted out of life, delivered straight to my doorstep. I mean, I had no doubt I'd make it in, but All Might, teaching me, giving me the instruction, making me the top hero. It was the only thing to make it all even better. And finally, the results, the top 10 scorers for the UA entrance exam. And one glorious sight, at the top of the list, my own name. Katsuki Bakugou. Number 1, 77 villain points, higher than anyone else. All Might was saying some nonsense about rescue points. There was a second column for those with no points in my name, but what really mattered was my first place score. Way ahead of all those other extras, way ahead of. Number 7, Izuku Midoriya, 60 rescue points. Deku, no freaking way. What the hell? What was going on? Nothing else All Might was saying even reached me. Everything seemed to snuff out. All the triumph of that number 1 score suddenly just evaporated in a puff of smoke. 7th place maybe, but only 17 points behind me. Unequivocally going to UA, somehow, some way. It wasn't possible. It wasn't. This means 2 kids from our middle school got into UA. 2. The next day at school, the stupid principal called me and that damn nerd into his office to congratulate us. US, not me. And there he was, Deku, looking just as nervous and terrified as always. And Midoriya's acceptance in particular is a miracle. The man was adding, just salting up my wound. What goddamn trick did you use to pass the exam, you bastard? I asked him outside, away from the teachers. I was supposed to be the first to enter UA. Alone. I told you to go someplace else. All of a sudden, he was grabbing my arm, with a grip damn near like steel. Nothing like he'd ever used before. And giving me such a look. Someone finally acknowledged me, told me I could become a hero. Kakin, I've won the right. Why you can't stop me. I'm headed to UA. He was borderline crying. But he was looking at me with that kind of fire he gets in his eyes when he's set his mind on something, as thought nobody in the world could ever defeat him. That terrifying little spark that always makes me wonder if he's actually a bit off his rocker. And I have no choice but to let him go. 𝐾𝐬𝗧𝗵𝗲. Get your butt out the door or you're going to miss the first day. I heard you're the first time, old hag. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲. Damn stupid school uniform with its tie and tight pants. I let him hang down my waist and ditched the stupid tie. Always hated him. Never had to wear one before outside of the old hag dressing me up for some formal event. One train ride later and I was there. UA High, the giant H-shaped school where I would become the world's greatest hero. My assigned classroom was 1A. A huge-ass door opened up into a medium-sized classroom, already half full of losers in the same UA uniform. Mostly dudes, a couple girls. My desk was in the last row from the door. I headed over and settled down, getting comfortable. Don't put your legs on the desk. A Poindexter with glasses and a stick up his butt was standing over me and shouting, gesturing like some kind of maniac. Isn't that disrespectful towards your classmates? Yeah, right. What school are you from, you 2-bit extra? I asked, rolling my eyes at that uptight weirdo's nerve. A private chime from 𝗬𝗵𝗲 Junior High. The name's Tenya Ida. 𝗬𝗵𝗲. Well, I'll rent you an elite. I'm looking forward to crushing you. He pulled back, all offended. What nerve? You want to be a hero? I shook my head. What the hell was he on about? Of course I did. Then he suddenly wasn't looking at me anymore, but rather at the door, like someone important had entered, hiding almost behind the door frame, like a little mouse. That damn nerd. Classes went over to start chatting with him, like they already knew each other. Midoriya, I must hand it to you. You divined the actual nature of the practical skills exam, didn't you? I was blind to it, and I completely misread you. I hate to admit it, but you were the better candidate. Deku, I muttered to myself. No idea what Glasses was going on about, but I wanted to blow his face up. Going on about Deku being some superior candidate, asking me if I even wanted to be a hero. Where did he get off? Ah, it's you. The curly-haired kid, said some girl behind Deku. Short girl with a ridiculously round face. Glad I found you. You made it, just like President Mike said. Yay, go you. By the way, that punch was amazing. She was shouting, pumping her fist in the air. You pulverized it. Some real noises. That talk. Deku was hunched over, covering his face and sweating bullets. No, it's not like that. It was really all thanks to you speaking on my behalf. Did the damn nerd have no dignity at all? Roundface was asking, how did you know about that? I remembered in that moment how he'd stood up to me back at the entrance exam. That pathetic nerd actually put up a fight. There's got to be something else going on here. Roundface is still gabbing at Deku, who still looks like he's gonna faint. I wonder if today's the ceremony. Or is it guidance counselor stuff today? Oh, and the teacher, what'll they be like? I'm so anxious, like wow. A voice interrupted her from outside the front door. If you're gonna be hunting for buddies, do it elsewhere. I looked through her and Deku to see some old dude peering out from inside a sleeping bag. This is the hero department, he grumbled out, sucking air through a bag. Then he stepped out of the bag. This shaggy-haired, unshaven dude, dressed in black with a huge scarf around his neck. It took you lot 8 seconds to quiet down. Life is short, kids. You're all lacking in common sense. So he must be a pro hero too, huh? That damn nerd was saying. It took me a second to get what that meant, which made me wanna blow up my desk. He then went and confirmed it. I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Pleasure meeting you. He then held up our gym uniform. Wear this immediately, and meet up at the PE grounds. Our homeroom teacher, curt and to the point. I had to say, I liked his style. A quirk apprehension test. The whole class was standing outside in our gym uniforms, watching the old teacher in shock. Roundface asked, what about the ceremony? And the guidance counseling? If you want to be heroes, you don't have time for that, said Sensei. You all understand the school's reputation for freedom on campus. That freedom goes for us teachers too. The softball pitch, the standing long jump, the 50-meter dash, endurance running, grip strength, sustained sideways jumps, upper body exercise, seated to touch. These are all activities you know from middle school, naturally. Physical tests where you were barred from using your quirks. The country still hasn't gotten around to standardizing those sorts of records or keeping track of average performance level. Well, that's negligence on the part of MEXT. Bakugou, he said, suddenly turning to me. How far could you pitch a softball in middle school? 6-7 meters. Try using your quirk this time around. As long as you don't exit the circle, anything is fine. Don't hold back. Got it, I said, heading into the circle with the softball. Just augment the pitch with some shockwave power and die, I shouted, giving the ball a good burst of momentum. The teacher nodded as his distance measurer beeped. Before anything else, one must know what they're capable of, he said, holding it up for everyone to see. My score, 705. 2 meters. Nice. This is a rational metric that will form the basis of your hero foundation. Awesome, cheered a girl with pink skin and raccoon eyes, clapping her hands together. That looks so fun. Sensei looked over at her with a frown. It looks like fun, you say. So you were planning to spend your 3 years here having a good old time. What happened to becoming heroes? All right, then. In that case, the student who ranks last in total points will be judged hopeless and instantly expelled. Our freedom means we dispense with students as we please. Welcome to the hero department. Roundface was protesting again. This is our first day. Even if it wasn't, that's just unfair. Natural disasters, massive accidents, ego-mad villains, ... All kinds of calamities can happen when we least expect them. The world is full of unfairness. It's our jobs as heroes to reverse it all and restore reason. If you were counting on a friendly chat at the local McDonald's after school, that's too bad. From now on, for the next 3 years, all you can expect from life at UA is one hardship after the next. This is plus ultra. I expect you to overcome these trials and climb to the top. Now then, that was the demonstration. Time to step up to the plate. I found myself grinning like crazy. From the sounds of it, this would prove to those idiots that I was the one who deserved to be here. And without a quirk, it was pretty clear Deku would come in last place and get expelled. Finally, this was starting to feel more like the UA I'd expected. I could still throw that ball farther, though. First up, the 5-meter dash. I went at the same time as Deku and blasted my way through with blast speed turbo, making it in at 4:35. 13 seconds. Just as I thought. If I used both hands, it dispersed the power. Looking back, then, what about Deku? There he was, paying and out of breath, at 2 seconds. Absolutely pathetic score. No better than ever. And so it kept going. Every challenge, I did great, surpassing what was needed, and Deku screwed up. Deku got nothing. Deku did nothing. Every single time he flopped, and looked terrified, like he knew full well he wasn't supposed to be here. And yet against all odds he was. Not for long, though, from the looks of it. Finally, the ball toss. Glasses was asking, Midoriya's not doing too well, is he? Of course not. I told him he's a quirkless loser. Quirkless, said Glasses, looking at me like I'd lost my mind. Didn't you hear what he did at the entrance exam? Huh, I asked. What was he talking about? Roundface had said something like that too, like Deku'd punched something. But here he was now, throwing the ball barely 46 meters, screwing up as usual ... and they looked surprised. Sensei was talking to him, looked like he was laying into him. And Glasses and Roundface were still standing there looking confused as hell. The teacher let Deku go to finish the second turn. What was that, some kind of pep talk? Glasses was asking. He's gonna get expelled for sure, I said, watching Deku just standing there like he had no idea what to do. He wound up for the pitch again. And suddenly there was that look on his face again ... that expression like suddenly nothing was gonna stop him. The ball burst out of his hand and blasted into the air with a resounding bang, blowing all of us away like a wind-based explosion, and blasted off into nowhere faster and further than even my own had gone. Next to me, the extras were all cheering and shouting like this made some kinda sense. Like this wasn't some kinda aberration. What the fuck? Quirks manifest at age 4, at the latest? It's impossible. And yet, he said he won it. I remembered his face, what he'd said, all he'd done. How he was acting like he'd somehow earned his place, like a prize in a raffle. What is this, Deku? I charged ahead, ready to fight him head to get the answer. Explain, now, you bastard. Suddenly, a firm wire was wrapped around my head, my body, pulling me back and making it impossible for me to move, while my quirk suddenly stopped working at all. Shit, this cloth, I can't. The teacher was standing over me, restraining me like some kinda animal on a leash. The wires were his damn scarf. It's a capture weapon, a steel wire alloy woven with carbon nanofibers. Don't make me use my quirk so much. It gives me serious dry eye. Oh, yeah, the teacher. A pro hero named Eraserhead, or Shota Aizawa. Able to erase people's quirks by looking at him. Teach let me go, looked bored. We're wasting time. Prepare for the next trial. Deku headed over to Roundface, who was looking all worried about him. I watched him, thinking back, trying to understand. Up until just now, you were just another pebble on the road. The two of us, as kids, headed through the woods together to go catch bugs. I'm jealous, your quirk is so cool, Kakin. I hope mine comes in soon too. I told you, I said to him, no matter what kind of quirk you get, Deku, it'll never measure up to mine. Later on, the teacher told us he wasn't really kicking anyone out. Deku came in last, like I'd thought. But what did that matter? He wasn't going anywhere. He was still here and here to stay. He should have been nothing more than a pebble in my path. Somehow, despite doing great in every trial, I ended up in third in that damn quirk apprehension test. 2 losers ahead of me, whose names I didn't remember. We got a pretty clear routine going at UA after a few days. Regular classes in the morning, hero course in the afternoon, and teaching the course was I am here coming through the door like a normal person. All Might, in all his power and glory, up in front of us in a hero costume, announcing the start of our combat training. Combat training, exactly what I'd been born for. Finally time to suit up and show these UA extras just who the new #1 hero was going to be. My costume was something I got to design myself. I made sure it would accommodate my quirk and look as best as possible. I started with a flashy spiked headgear, black half mask, black top with a red X, meant to expose my chest and upper arms to show off the muscles, gauntlets meant to store up sweat to use as a weapon, belt with explosive grenades, and some way to kill with my knees. They pretty much nailed it. Everything I wanted. Some weird detail gave me 2 black dots on the red X near my neck though. I walked out. I happened to be walking next to Roundface and noticed her outfit had the same pattern. 2 black dots near the neck. She was wearing some kind of space suit with giant boots, lots of pink and black, and a helmet. I think her quirk does something with gravity. Deku showed up last, wearing the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen someone try to pass for a superhero costume. Seriously, like giant bunny ears over a hood and some weak-ass bodysuit, gloves and his same dopey red shoes. He looked like a kid playing dress-up. I thought I even saw All Might cracking up at him. Roundface seemed to like it, though. All Might was saying, you'll see, in fact, take 2 steps and you'll be there. This will be an indoor battle trial. Villain cleanup is usually seen out in the open, but statistically, the better part of it is an indoor job. Most acts of villainy are committed indoors. Imprisonment, house arrest, the black market. In this hero-saturated society, any villain with intelligence is lurking in the shadows. For this test, you'll separate into villain and hero groups for a 2-on-2 team battle. A frog-faced girl asked what about the foundational training? Like someone like me needed training wheels or some shit. All Might grinned and announced this is foundational training. Only this time, there won't have any robots it'd be okay to just destroy. Is it okay if we just blow them away? I asked, amid a chorus of other questions, like tall ponytail girl asking how do we determine losses, round face going will we be expelled, and glasses asking how will groups be determined. All Might looked annoyed and got out a small cheat sheet to explain. For this training, we'll have some villains guard a nuclear weapon they intend on deploying. The heroes must stop them and their nefarious scheme before it's too late. If the heroes capture the villains or reach the nuclear core before the time runs out, they win. If the villains keep the core the whole time or capture the heroes, they win. Your opponents will be chosen by lottery. Lots were drawn and I ended up somehow on the same team as Glasses. He looked about as thrilled as I did. Deku was working with round face, and before I knew it, All Might had drawn our 2 groups to go first. My team is the villain's side, Deku and round face is the hero's side. This scenario has the villains inside the building first. Then, after 5 minutes, the heroes will be let in as well. Everyone else will be able to watch what unfolds through the surveillance cameras. This will allow young Ada and Bakugou to get inside the heads of villain kind. This is a practical training exercise, so go all out without fear of injury. Though naturally, we'll cut it short if things get out of hand. That was helpfully vague. A few minutes later, me and Glasses were standing in the top floor around a mock dummy weapon. It may just be a training exercise, but it still pains me to be a villain, though I suppose we just need to defend this thing. Glasses was yammering, knocking the weapon. I was thinking on task about tactics, how to beat them, how to beat him. Yo, so Deku's got himself a quirk after all, right? You saw it for yourself, didn't you? He asked me after a bewildered pause. That Herculean strength. It looks pretty high risk, but ... why is it you seem to be extremely angry when it comes to Midori? Were you really fooling me all this time, you damn nerd? The start whistle blew and I moved. I needed to know, had to see just how much he'd lied to me our entire lives. I found him in round face on the 3rd floor, and got the drop on them with a big surprise attack, aiming a blast at the wall, which Deku dodged, pushing her out of the way. Damn it, Deku, don't dodge me, I said, annoyed. If you've got such a great quirk, why are you running? I figured you'd try to get me first, he was saying, like he somehow knew exactly what I'd do. I'll blow you away, but just sort of getting interrupted. I told him, heading right at him, prepared to hit him with just short of everything He grabbed my arm and started pulling me over his head. What the hell? Did that damn nerd just read me? He pulled me over his head and judo tossed me over and onto the floor, smacking my back into the ground. Kaken, you always lead with a big right swing. I can't count how many times I've seen you do it. I analyzed and took notes on all the heroes I thought were amazing, including you. The same notes you blew up and tossed away. I'm no longer the same helpless, defenseless kid anymore. From now on, I'm the Deku who never gives up. He was standing there, arms raised, shaking in his boots in fear, and yet looking up at me as if he was really gonna beat me. Deku, you're shaking in your boots, you're so scared. But you wanna write me anyway. Now I'm really pissed. I yelled at him, and he still kept on looking at me like he was really gonna beat me. This was more. Our houses were in the same neighborhood, so Deku and me were childhood friends. I was in charge of our little group, and he always tailed after me, alongside everyone else. But after we learned he had no quirk, it all took a turn for the worst. I know people aren't equal from birth. I knew even when I was 4, the truth everyone in society knows. Except, it seemed, Deku. Now I'm really pissed. I told him. Glasses' voice suddenly started yammering in my earpiece. Bakugou, tell me what's going on. What's happening? Shut up and keep guarding. I told him I didn't have time for his nonsense. I'm really fucking pissed right now. When did I ask you how you were feeling? He said, in a condescending tone. I switched him off and got ready for my next attack. You're a raka, said that damn nerd, as I blasted at him, looking totally unfazed. Go on without I managed to land a kick on him, but he dodged again. Round face really was running off. You don't have the margin to look away. I told him, then felt my heart skip a beat. He was wrapping that damn capture tape around my leg. I reacted with the first thing that came into my head, the same right swing he'd predicted before, and he dodged again, just barely in time to avoid getting wrapped up. I turned around to face him, and before I could make another move, he'd run off. Get back here, Deku, I yelled at him, getting more and more frustrated. He'd done all this and still, he hadn't used that damn quirk. You tricked me, didn't you? I asked, feeling like everything was shattering. Were you having a laugh all this time? Well, your quirk is actually pretty flashy, ain't it? Why don't you use it? Mine is even stronger. No reply, still ignoring me. Running off, leaving me behind. No, he would never leave me behind. I'm headed to UA. You can't stop me. Izuku, you really can't do anything, can you? I'm the Deku who never gives up all that stupid boasting, and yet what did he have to show for it? All he ever did was stand around, watching me do great things, never accomplishing anything on his own. You can read the last part of Izuku's name as Deku. I'd told our classmates, way back when. Wow, Kaken, you can already read. The extras chorused. What, you can't? I said, wanting to laugh. Of course they couldn't. From now on, a Deku is a person who's totally useless at everything, I'd said, and he'd muttered stop it while everyone else was saying you're so smart. Why don't you understand? Wow, Kaken, how many times did it skip? 7. What about yours, Deku? 0. Why can't you do anything? The teachers and my classmates all said it. What a fantastic quirk. It's flashy enough for a hero, Katsuki. I get it now. I'm just awesome, and everyone else just isn't. And he agreed with them. Your quirk is so cool, Kaken. I wonder when mine will come in. Whatever quirk you get, it'll never measure up to mine. He's just a pebble. He said he doesn't have a quirk. It's called being quirkless. So lame. Deku is the least amazing of all. All of us, my little gang and Deku all together, playing together as kids with Deku, always trailing behind. Go, Bakugou squad. And then I'd slipped, just one little mister, and fallen off the log over the creek, and they were all yelling from the bridge, you okay? He'll be all right. Kaken's tough. Don't keep us waiting. I was totally fine. It was nothing. There wasn't a scratch on me. Are you okay? Can you get up? Deku, with his outstretched hand, down there. If you hit your head, that'd be bad. Don't look at me with that expression. You looked like you needed help. There he was in front of me again, when that sludge villain. Damn it, I am above you. I'm gonna prove it, once and for all, you know. I finally found him, crouching, sweating and cowering like the fearful kid he is. It's ready, I murmured, preparing to take aim. Why won't you use it? Are you looking down on me? Deku, Kaken. He narrows his eyes and faces me again. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I already know about all your stalking, you know, I told him. Oh yeah, he follows me around, never leaves me alone. My explosions are sparked by the sweat on my palms, which is like nitroglycerin. Now, if the specs are as I asked, then I can store that nitro sweat into this bracer, and young 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐵𝐴KU. All Might's voice boomed over the radio. Stop this. You'll kill him. If it doesn't hit him, he won't die, I replied, almost rolling my eyes. What was All Might doing getting worried? I had the gun cocked and pulled the pin. The shot blasted out from my weapon and shook the entire building. Through the giant blast, it was impossible to see Deku for a moment. As it cleared away, he came into view, panting, just having dodged away in time. Are you out of your mind? He asked, still glaring at me, but finally looking properly scared, like he was, at last, grasping the situation he was in. Use your quirk, Deku, I told him. I'm gonna break you at your full strength. No matter how much power you have, you'll never beat me. I can't wait to wipe that smug look off your face. Isn't this fantastic? What's wrong, Deku? Come at me, man. You can still fight, can't ya? I called out at him. He stared for a second, and then he turned to his mic. What's the situation, Uraraka? He was saying, like he was completely ignoring me. You've got some nerve, I said, annoyed once more. He was just acting like I wasn't even there. Even after I'd shown him just how powerful I really was, he was just talking to that partner of his as if nothing I did even mattered. Young 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐵𝐴KU. All Might's voice came through again. If you shoot another blast like that, I'll end this match and your team will lose. Launching an attack with such an extensive damage radius indoors defeats the purpose of protecting your stronghold. It doesn't matter if you're a hero or a villain, that was just foolish. Once more and you'll earn yourself massive demerits. Damn it. Screw it, I said, as Deku kept on muttering some nonsense. The pillar by the window, Roger. Let's just throw some punches, I said, blasting myself overhead and reaching Deku. He was expecting me to come right at him and preparing a punch. I was ready for that. With one move, I blasted behind him and aimed a shot at his back. He actually took some real damage this time. Here it comes, your beloved right swing, I shouted, finally in the position to have the advantage. Eat this. One sharp swipe to the back and he was no longer grinning like he knew something I didn't. This was my chance to pay him back in kind. I got a hold of his elbow and tossed him over my head, one-handed, with some help from a blast. You are beneath me, I told him, as he landed on his back with a good loud smack. No more smirk on that damn mug now. He was actually running away. Scrambling over towards the other end of the room, he hit the wall with nowhere left to run. And still, no matter what I did, why won't you use your damn quirk already? I asked, almost begged him. You looking down on me? Ever since we were little kids, you've always been like that. That's not it, he said, but what else could there be? You looking down on me, damn it? I asked him again, as he appeared to be almost crying. He was clenching his fist, And when he looked up again, there was that damn look, that passionate strange expression he always wears when he's about to do something that'll screw me over. Then he said it, Kaken, it's because you're so amazing that I want to win. I want to win and surpass you. How do you not get that, dumbass? How can you say that, you damn nerd? If you really thought I was so amazing, you wouldn't look at me like that. Knock that expression off your fucking face. I moved forward, prepared to hit him with the biggest blast I had. And at last, I could see him preparing a punch, one that would finally use that damn flashy quirk of his, whatever reason, but he was finally taking me seriously, and shouting Detroit as if about to say what All Might always says. And I could feel the blood pumping and preparing. Finally, a good solid fight with 𝗧𝗧𝗏, I'm here, he said all of a sudden, out of nowhere, but he still wasn't dodging. So I went in with my strongest attack, bracing for the full force of that quirk, that wall to overcome, and Deku aimed the attack, straight at the ceiling. 𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴𝐴 had aimed at him. The blast he'd thrown at the ceiling was, I don't even know how to describe it. It made the baseball blast he'd used before look like nothing. Like a whirling tornado of energy blasted up through the ceiling. Then the floor above ... the floor above that even further. Onward and onward, until it reached the roof, with whirling energy all around us and debris falling every which way. And from upstairs, I heard glasses shouting the weapon. And suddenly everything clicked. The pillar by the wall, 𝐒𝐽𝐽𝐫, now ... the debris. Round faces, zero gravity powers ... that was your plan. This entire time, you were ignoring me because you're telling me that ... from the very beginning. You were planning this, playing me, using me. You were always scheming to get into this position, planning to make debris for Round Face, so she could grab the weapon. I knew it, you were looking down on me. The smoke was starting to clear up, and I heard him speaking, as if half choking. I wasn't planning on using it, because I actually can't. My body isn't able to take the strain from this quirk. The smoke was clearing, and I could see his arm ... his entire arm, broken and half bleeding, twisted and mangled as if the building had dropped on it, some kind of busted tableau. Mr. Aizawa told me, too, but this was the only thing I could think of. That manic look in his eyes as he slowly, painfully collapsed. And All Might's voice came echoing through the loudspeakers, the hero team wins, and I stood there, facing the absolutely unthinkable, the utterly impossible. By right swing, Deku was reading me like a book, and on top of that, he came up with a way to beat me. Hyperventilating so in short, even though we were seriously going at it, I lost to Deku. A huge hand was on my shoulder. Let's go back, young Bakugou. It's time for your critique. No matter whether you won or lost, you take one look back, you reflect on the experience, and you move on with your life. You don't know though, All Might. You and the extras, you don't know what this means. In a blur, I was in the monitor room, standing between Glasses and Round Face, and All Might was giving out our grades. I'd say, the best in this match was young Ada. Glasses, he meant. Frog Face was asking, but weren't the winners Ochako and Midoriya? Nobody's nominating me. Nobody's even looking at me. I wonder why I could possibly think so. All Might was saying, his words coming through like a dim haze. Who knows why? Ponytail Girl raised her hand. Yes, All Might Sensei. It's because Ada was the one who adapted the most to the situation. Having watched the fight, Bakugou's behavior was clearly driven by some personal grudge, and this totally arbitrary. Furthermore, as you told us earlier, a large range attack in an indoor arena is just idiotic. Words land like a smack to the face, and All Might's echo with them. I can't believe it, but I'm agreeing with her. And even as she goes on to criticize Deku and Round Face and praise Glasses, none of it really hits. It's all a blur, because nothing in my world makes sense anymore. Round B is beginning, and I don't even care. I don't want to watch or bother, but we're all supposed to, and at least, maybe, I could get one over on Ponytail Girl. The fight was between too many arms, Ice Face, Tail, and Invisible Chick. Latter two on the villain's team, former two on the hero team. Ice Face and Arms were standing in the doorway, taking inventory, while Invisible Chick had gone total invisible. Lame move, like you're any good in a fight. Ice Face was saying something to his partner, who backed out of the building. Ice Face then put his hand on the wall, and in seconds the entire building was covered in a thick layer of ice and snow. Inside, outside, everywhere, freezing Tail and Invisible Girl to the ground. Ice Face just walked right in, like this was no big deal, to the upper floor with the weapon. He made sure his comrade didn't get caught in the attack, and he refrained from damaging the core. All Might was saying, he even weakened his enemy's position. He's something else, this one. Holy crap. That ice guy ... that power ... if I can lose to Deku, no way. I can't beat him. I can't beat him. The rest of the class passed by in a daze. Class was wrapped. All Might was giving his closing speech. Good work, everyone. Apart from young Midoriya, there were no big injuries. Deku'd been carted off to get his arm fixed up after the match and still wasn't back. Nevertheless, no holds were barred. For your first full training exercise, you all did wonderfully. Yeah, right. All did wonderfully ... as if you really mean that. The end of the day couldn't come quickly enough for me. Every few minutes was another remonstrance, another humiliation. Everyone in class talked only about how amazing Deku was, how cool Ice Face was. Turns out he doesn't just have ice, but heat too. Todoroki, the second in the class after Ponytail Girl. Both of them ranked better than me. And Deku, who'd beaten me, with Round Face's help, and Glasses, who All Might was saying was better ... All of a sudden, it was like it was my name on the bottom of that list, not Deku's. Totally should be, you know. You do nothing, totally failed. Ponytail was right. All Might was right ... You're just a total screw-up. Total failure, can't do anything. Those voices talking about Deku, saying that about him ... Now it was like it was being said about me. I couldn't stand to say another word all day. At the first chance, I headed home, with a weight on my shoulders like nothing I'd ever known before. Kaken, he was calling out to me, slightly out of breath. I turned back to see him there, arm in a sling, looking down as if he was guilty or annoyed or sorry for me or something. I have something I need to tell you, he said. And I braced myself for whatever he was about to say, whatever condescending nonsense was about to come out of his mouth. I wasn't hiding my quirk from you. I got it from someone else. No matter what, I can't tell you who, but I swear it's true. Even if it sounds like a story out of a comic book, I still can't fully use it the way it's supposed to be. It's a borrowed power. I can't make it my own yet. That's why I tried to win without using it. But even then, in the end, I couldn't win and relied on it anyway. I'm still nowhere near strong enough, so I'll work until I have full control of this borrowed quirk, and I'll finally beat you with my own power. I wasn't sure whether to explode or laugh or shake or what. I couldn't understand a word of what he'd said. He looked like he felt he'd said too much, even. Nothing made any sense anymore, so why should Deku start now? What the hell is that? I asked him, still kind of dazed from the day around me. Borrowed power. I don't get what the hell you're trying to say. Did you want to make an even bigger fool of me? Even so, I'd been trying not to think about what happened all day long, but now it was all tumbling out of me like I had to tell Deku everything. He needed at last to understand. Today, you beat me. That's all there is to it. That's all. You were better than me. You defeated me. Deku, somehow, you did it. You outwitted me, outdid me, outplayed me. And not just you. When I was watching that ice guy, I realized I couldn't beat him in a head-on fight. Damn it, I even agreed with what that girl said. Damn it. Everything came out, and suddenly the truth hit me. You too, Deku. From here on out, you listening. I'm gonna be number one, and you'll never beat me again. I was actually crying, as everything was clicking into place. I finally understood what I had to do. I turned away, wiping my tears, when I heard a now familiar voice. Bakugou Shonen. And All Might's giant hands were on my shoulders, almost forcing me into the ground. I'll tell you this once. Confidence is indeed a very vital thing. And you're not mistaken that you have talent, befitting a pro. From here on out, you can climb even higher. Let go of me, All Might. I can't walk, I told him, drying my tears enough to face him. I didn't tell you before, so allow me to correct that. I'm gonna surpass you too. I'm gonna vault over you and become the #1 hero. He just stood there, like he wasn't sure what to say, and let me go. I was headed home, and my mind was full of only one thing. Everything else, All Might, Ponytail Girl, Icy Hot ... all of it fell away. Only one thing left on my mind. Deku. It didn't make any sense, with how much he pissed me off ... but speaking to him made it all so clear. All I had to do was get better than everyone else. Better that all of them be good enough for me to beat at their best. And whatever was going on with Deku, well, it didn't matter anymore. His fuse was lit up and he was competing with me, and I would still surpass him. So things really, they hadn't changed. All that mattered was becoming #1. Only a few days later, we'd be facing the threat All Might had mentioned before. What do you think of all M... Wait, aren't you the kid from the sludge incident? A year later, these losers are still bringing that up. Drop it. The news that All Might was teaching at UA made the whole country get all excited. And the mass media were pressing at the gates for days on end for a scoop. It made it really annoying to try and get in the front doors for class. Hope you're rested from yesterday's battle trial. I took the liberty of looking at your marks and evaluation, said Sensei. Then all of a sudden, he turned to me. Bakugou, stop acting like a child. You're wasting your talent. I sat there for a moment, then said, I know. I didn't want to look Sensei in the eyes. And you, he said, looking right behind me, are you always planning on destroying your arm, Midoriya? If you keep going, I can't adjust my quirk, so I have no choice. You'll never get far. I've said it before. Don't make me say it a third time. Once you've cleared that hurdle, you'll be much more flexible, so I need to see some sweat out of you, Midoriya. Yes, sir, he yapped behind me. At least both of us screwed up. Now, let's get on with the homeroom notices. I'm sorry to spring this on you all, but what now? Another pop test. We need to pick a class president. Finally, something school-like. It felt like everyone was thinking that together now. All the extras were shouting about how they wanted it, but I knew it was meant to be mine. If this was just some normal old school, being class rep would just involve a bunch of boring paperwork. But here, in the hero department, it's a sign that you can be a real leader. Be quiet, everyone, said Glasses. This is a task laden with responsibility, where you must carry and pull everyone else's weight. It's a holy office that requires the esteem and trust of everyone else in class. The only truly worthy leader will emerge from a democratic choice, reflecting the will of the people, which is why this must be settled by a vote. Pretentious idiot, I thought. It's still too early to have developed any trust in each other, said Frogface. And everyone will just vote for themselves, added Weird Hair. And that's precisely why the person who does manage to earn multiple votes will be the truly appropriate person for the job. No, said Glasses. Is that all right, Sensei? He said, turning to Mr. Aizawa. As long as you all decide by the deadline. Anything's fine, said Mr. Aizawa, going to sleep in his old sleeping bag. The votes were cast and collected. Second place with 2 votes was Ponytail Girl, with everyone else having 1. First place, with 3 votes. How did I get 3 votes? He stammered. My question exactly. You gotta be kidding me. Who voted for Deku? I demanded. Well, guess we know it wasn't you, snarked Soy Sauce Face. Glasses was pouting in the corner. 0 votes. I see how it is. Of course, since I insisted on the sacredness of the role. You voted for somebody else, said Ponytail, even though you wanted the job so badly. What are you doing, Ida? Asked Sugar Guy. So then, said Mr. Aizawa, coming out of his nap, it's President Midoriya and Vice President Yaoyorozu. Deku and Ponytail were standing up in front of the classroom, him looking as baffled as I was that he'd ended up rep. Well, said Weird Hair, Midoriya was real fired up during our combat training. And Yaoyorozu was real cool during the training analysis, added Dunce Face. Maybe this won't be so bad. Won't be so bad. Damn it, what was happening? Deku was voted as class rep. It was like everything that had once made sense was flipping on its head. Lunch that day was interrupted by a security breach, which caused the whole cafeteria to stampede for the doorway. The idiots almost caused a stampede, until Glasses suddenly rose up from the crowd, flipped onto the emergency exit sign. Later, we found out he'd had Round Face float him. Standing in front of us, he yapped, "Everybody, calm down. It's okay. It's just the press. There's nothing to panic about. It's okay. You're at UA. Let's conduct ourselves in the manner of those enrolled at the highest academia." Everyone calmed down, and the crowd dispersed. The police arrived, and the reporters withdrew, and we all returned to Class 1A. Deku and Ponytail were starting us up, and he still looked like he had no idea what he was even doing there. All right, President, said Ponytail, start us off. Deku is class rep. We're supposed to decide who our other class officers will be, but first, I need to say something, he said, still shaking a bit. I've thought a lot about this, and I think that Tenya Ida should be our class rep. He was able to get the whole crowd to calm down, and I think that makes him the right choice for the job. Suddenly things seemed to make even less sense. You got the job, and now you're just giving it up. What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, he's got a point, said Weird Hair, jumping right on the bandwagon to agree with whatever Deku said. Ida made a great showing back there at the lunchroom. I wouldn't have minded Midoriya either, of course. Kiss ass. He looked like the guy on the emergency exit sign, said Dunce Face. Whatever, just get on with it already, growled Mr. Aizawa from inside his sleeping bag. Time is wasting. If it's the wish of the class rep, said Glasses, then I can't refuse. Do us proud, emergency exit, cheered Weird Hair. Emergency exit Ida. Don't let us down, said Dunce Face. So just like that, our class rep was Glasses instead of Deku. 12:50 p.m. the next day. With all that decided, Mr. Aizawa was ready to begin our hero studies. For the foundational heroic skills we'll study today, it was decided you'll be supervised by a 3-man team consisting of me, All Might, and one other teacher. Sensei, asked Soy Sauce Face, what'll we be doing? Mr. Aizawa raised up a small card labeled Rescue. Rescue training. To be the hero everyone needs, whether for a flood or any other disaster. Rescue training sounds right up my alley, said Dunce Face. Totally, gushed Raccoon Eyes. This is what a hero's whole job is, said Weird Hair. I'm chomping at the bit. If it's a flood, then that environment's my speciality, Kiro, added Frogface. Don't get ahead of yourselves, said Mr. Aizawa. As I was saying, this time it's entirely up to each of you whether or not you wear your costume. Some of your costumes probably aren't adapted to the task at hand. After all, the training area is fairly far away, so we'll get there by bus. That's all. Go get prepared. Rescue training. Boring procedural stuff, really. The kind of stuff heroes do when they're just backup. I wasn't exactly looking forward to a long lecture and dummy training. Everyone got changed and headed out to the bus, except for, "How come you're in your gym clothes, Deku?" asked Roundface. "My costume got tattered during the battle training. The repairs are already being handled by the support company, so I'm just waiting for them." "That wasn't my fault." "Not at all. You messed it up yourself." "Wasn't my fault. In order to get everyone seated smoothly on the bus, file into 2 lines according to your numbers," yelled Glasses, blowing a whistle and swaying his hand back and forth. Fortunately, it was the wrong kind of bus for that nonsense, so I was sitting in the back seat next to Headphone Jack Girl, while Deku was in the open part of the bus. Glasses was pouting. The bus's open layout ruined by boarding strategy, so there was really no point. "Huh?" said Raccoon Eyes. "Hey, Midoriya," said Frogface. "I always say what I think, no matter what's on my mind." Hi, Asui," stammered out Deku. "Call me Tsuyu. Your quirk reminds me of All Might's." "Oh, come on. All Might's. That bone breaker power. I remembered something. That as we were fighting, Deku had been yelling out some of All Might's usual attack move names, like Detroit Smash. He was looking real nervous now, still stammering. "That's so. Haha, but mine isn't like." "Wait up, Asui," said Weird Hair. "All Might doesn't hurt himself. That's where the likeness ends. I'm kinda jealous of that simple, enhancer-type quirk. There's a lot you can do with one, and flashily too. My hardening power isn't bad for a fight, but I hate that it's just not that flashy." "Well, I think it's an awesome quirk," said Deku. "Definitely useful for a pro. But you know, Heroics has a lot about it that can be more like a popularity contest, too," said Weird Hair. "Naval Laser Nade. My Naval Laser is both flashy and strong enough for the pro level. But it's way lame if it gives you a stomachache, honey," said Raccoon Eyes. "Well, if anyone in our class has pro quirks, it's Todoroki and Bakugou," said Weird Hair, pointing back at me. Icy Hot was asleep in the seat behind me. "Bakugou's always fuming, though," said Frogface, "so he won't be popular." "You Frogface," I yelled, offended and hurt. "Come over here and say that to my face." "See," said Frogface, pointing my way. "Dunce face laid, and it's only been a little while since we met you, but we've already been made apodictically cognizant of your personality, redolent as it is of a tired getting steamed in a sewer. What kind of vocabulary is that? I'll fucking kill you." In the seat opposite me, Ponytail was looking grossed out. "What a vulgar conversation." Roundface was grinning. "Yeah, but they make me laugh." "Damn, Bakugou, you are one foul-mouthed dude." "Almost there. Settle down already," came Mr. Aizawa's reprimand from the front seat. "Yes, sir," we chorused back at him. Only a few minutes later, and the bus stopped outside a big circular building with reflective panels all over. Inside, we found a huge theme set of mock areas, like a theme park attraction. A shipwreck, a landslide, a fire, etc., said a mic-fied voice I remembered hearing dozens of times on TV. "This is a practical training area I created to simulate all kinds of accidents and disasters, and its name is the Unforeseen Simulation Joint. So it really is USJ," was the first thought, but the second was about the tall pro hero in his spacesuit standing in front of us, who we all knew as the Space Hero 13, said Deku, the chivalrous pro who does phenomenal work helping with disaster relief. "Wow, I've always liked 13, cheered Roundface. Mr. Aizawa mumbled something to 13, as we all gathered around and got ready for the day ahead. "Okay, well, shall we?" he said, apparently satisfied with 13's reply. "Before we begin," said 13, holding up fingers as they spoke, "just one thing, or 2 or 3 or 4. We get it. I'm certain you're all already quite aware, but my quirk is called Black Hole. No matter what material gets sucked into its vortex, it will turn to dust. That's a quirk that's perfect for removing wreckage and saving people injured by disasters," cheered Deku. "Yes," said 13, and a sinister note suddenly came into their voice. "However, it is a power that could also easily be used to kill people. And in that way, it's no different from the quirks of everyone here. Naturally, in this society of superhumans, quirks are strictly regulated, and the requirements for their lawful use enforced. We can tell at a glance that that is the makeup of this world. That being said, please don't forget that each of you possesses a quirk that can go awry. One wrong step is all it takes to kill someone else by accident. During Mr. Aizawa's strength test, you learned your power's true potential, and during All Might's battle training, I think you took away a true sense of the danger of brandishing those powers against each other. This lesson will serve as a fresh start. Let's get to studying about how to wield our quirks for the sake of human life. Your quirks do not exist to hurt others. Please leave this exercise having fully understood that your quirks exist to help people. That is all. You have my gratitude for listening so intently and patiently." 13 concluded with a bow. "All right. First things first," said Mr. Aizawa, but before he could finish what he was saying, something seemed to catch his eye. Far away, by the fountain near 𝐒𝐭𝐴𝐲's play, some kind of black, swirling mist had appeared out of nowhere, growing larger and larger. Suddenly, a hand came through the mist, as if it were a portal, and a face appeared within ... or not a face. A guy with scraggly hair and a severed hand, covering most of his face and exposing a single, scarlet, bloodshot eye. "Huddle together and don't move," said Mr. Aizawa. 13. Protect the students. "What is that?" said Weird Hair. "Is this like that training pattern at the entrance exam?" "Don't move," said Mr. Aizawa. His tone was dead serious. "These are villains." There they were, right in the midst of our rescue training. The villains who pros did battle with. The giant mess guy who'd brought them inside was saying Eraserhead and number 13. According to the teacher's curriculum we perceived yesterday, All Might was supposed to be here, and yet, "I knew it. That was you yesterday," said Mr. Aizawa. "Where is he? We went through all this trouble and rustled up so many of us to bring along ... You can't tell me All Might, the symbol of peace, isn't here." The hand guy was hissing. "I wonder if he'll show up, if we kill some of these her kids." What we faced that day was an evil we could never have suspected. The symbol of peace must die. Villains? No way. What kind of numbskull could think honest-to-goodness villains would be able to just waltz into the hero home base? Said Dunce Face. "Sensei," said Ponytail, "what about the intruder alarm sensors?" "Of course we have some set up," said 13, "but is this the only campus they've infiltrated? Or are they attacking all the others too?" said 𝐒𝐴𝐳𝐴𝐻. "At any rate, if the sensors aren't responding, that just means they must have one amongst their number who has a quirk that can do that. An isolated space away from the school building. At a time when there's a class scheduled ... It may seem out of the question, but they must have some solid objective. This isn't an ambush without some carefully planned scheme behind it." "Number 13, said Mr. Aizawa, "do the evacuation procedure and try calling the school. These villains know how to get around the sensors. There's a chance there's an electrowave type who'll try interfering. Kaminari, you too. Try contacting UA with your quirk." "Sensei," cried Deku, "are you gonna fight them alone? Even if you surprise all of their quirks, there's so many of them." The battle style of Eraserhead is to capture villains after erasing their quirks, meaning the main battle starts now. Mr. Aizawa turned back to him, his goggles now on. A hero always has more than one trick up their sleeves. 13, I'm counting on you. With that, he kept down the dais and went straight to the villains. Within seconds, he'd taken out at least 5, like a real, pro. Meanwhile, 13 was evacuating our class as we followed them to the front door. Just as we were headed to evacuate though ... the black mist guy sprung up in front of us, like a barrier to the doorway. "I'm afraid I can't allow that," he hissed in a deep, dark, scary voice. "Greetings, we are the League of Villains. I apologize for the presumption, but we took it upon ourselves to enter UA, this school of heroes, in order to engage with All Might, the symbol of peace. We were hoping to get the opportunity to extinguish him, you see. Wasn't All Might meant to be in attendance right now? Has something been altered?" "Well, setting that aside, this is my role," he said, and suddenly the black mist was moving, surrounding us all. "Yeah, that's what you think." I launched myself over at the mist freak, and Weird Hair followed me. I landed a blast on him and Weird Hair a punch. "Bet you didn't think we'd be able to do you in before you go the chance," he said. "That was close," murmured the mist guy. "To be expected. To you maybe mere students, you are also the hero world's golden eggs. It's no use, just run," shouted 13. "Run, you too." The mist surrounded us again, and the voice echoed, "You will be scattered and tortured to death." The noise resounded all around us. Somehow, our hits hadn't done anything to him, and before I knew it, Weird Hair and me had fallen onto the ground in the collapsed zone, into some building, and were suddenly surrounded by tons of villains. Oh, please. Like a bunch of villains were gonna stop me, now that I'd heard about their plan. No way they were gonna kill the symbol of peace on my watch. Time for those damn villains to die. "Is that all of them?" said Weird Hair, out of breath. "Man, they were weak," I said, bored with our lame adversaries. "Come on, we gotta go save the others." It continued, "Since we got warped here, that must mean the others are also still inside the USJ. I'm worried for the people without many battle moves." We rushed ahead to attack, so 13 was forced to hang back and play rear guard. If they'd been able to suck up that black mist, things wouldn't have turned out like this. As men, we need to talk responsibility. Condescending loser. If you wanna go, go by yourself. I'm gonna go murder that warp gate motherfucker. Now out of all times, you come out with lines like a little kid. Plus, physical attacks against that guy are. Shut it, I snapped. He's the enemy's escape watch. Their revolving door, so I'll pin him down so they can't escape. There's no way there isn't some way to counter him. I stopped for a sec to blast a dumb villain that tried to sneak up on me. I mean, if he assigned these useless looks to us, it ought to be fine. "You mean that's why you're so calm and rational?" asked Weird Hair. "You're normally all die and stuff." "I'm always calm, you fucking hair for brains," I snapped, and he smirked like he was trying to annoy me. Just fuck off, I'll read. Why, I told him. Wait up. It sounds like you're saying you believe in our classmates, he said to me. And that's thinking like a man. Well, he wasn't wrong. Against folks like Icy Hot, Roundface, even Deku with his damn new quirk, these villains were nothing. No way they'd be a threat to the symbol of freaking peace. When I arrived, there he was, running straight at the warp guy, as if about to jump straight into that warp gate, putting his life in danger. Out of the fucking way, Deku, I called at him, slamming the villain to the ground just in time to stop that damn nerd from getting eaten alive thanks to his own stupidity. Not that I was worried or anything. Ice Sounds nearby told me Icy Hot had showed up too, freezing the stupid brain villain, holding All Might down in place. I heard about your plan, he was saying. About each of your roles and the scheme to kill All Might. Weird Hair, who'd followed me, jumped at the hand villain and missed like a moron. Shit, I had him. No funny business out of you. I snapped at the damn warp guy, you shadow-ass mobbing. The symbol of peace won't go down as easy as you clowns, said Icy Hot. Kakin, everyone, called out Deku. Stalker as always looking at me. All four of us looked over at the damn hand villain. All Might was out of the brain guy's grip. Hand guy was freaking out a little. He said to me, you pinned down our revolving door. Well now, this is quite the pinch. Just as I thought, I grinned to myself. This prick was never all that sharp. If your body was just mist and physical attacks couldn't hurt it, you'd never have said that was close. It was easy to guess that's why you're wearing that neck armor. Don't move. The second you so much as twitch, I'll loud you with a nice little explosion, right here and now. Not a very heroic line there, buddy, said Weird Hair. Shut up, hand guy said. We've been cornered, and what's more, you're all nearly unscathed. I have to hand it to kids these days. At this rate, the League of Villains will be a laughing stock. Namu, go ahead and finish Explosion Boy over there. Gotta get our warp gate back. I tensed up, watching for what the brain guy was about to do. He pulled himself, frozen leg and all, through the warp and his body broke in two. Wait, how is he moving? Cried out Deku. Didn't half of his body snap? Stand back, all of you, said All Might. Then, to Shigaraki, I thought his power was shock absorption. I never said that was his only quirk, said Shigaraki. The broken limbs regenerated in seconds from where they'd snapped. As you can see, he's also got super regeneration. Namu is a human sandbank artificially crafted to the height of physical fitness to withstand your 100%. In a flash, the brain villain was coming straight at me. I barely had time to register it, barely had time to realize what was happening. When All Might tossed me out of the way. Through the chaos, I could hear Deku calling out Kakin. In a panic, I was sitting on the ground, behind him, with the others where the blast had thrown us backwards. You dodged him? Asked Deku. Wow, no, you idiot, I told him. I couldn't see him at all. All Might was panting and out of breath. Do you know no mercy? He asked Handface. We had no choice, he replied. We had to save our ally, didn't we? And not long ago, one of your kids over there the plain-looking one, he said, pointing at Deku. He tired to beat me up with all his strength. And for who do you think he mustered such touching acts of violence? Hero. Listen here, All Might, that makes me angry. We're all categorized as either heroes or villains. But at the end of the day, violence is violence. And who gets to decide right and wrong? Society does. The symbol of peace. Give me a break. You're nothing more than a bludgeon of oppression yourself. Violence only breeds more violence. And once we kill you, that'll be made known to the world. You're mad, said All Might. Criminals like you always try to make your actions sound noble, but admit it, you're only doing this because you like it. Saw right through me, said Shigaraki. It's 3 on 5, said Icy Hot, and Kakin exposed the shadow guy's weak point. Chirped Deku. These guys are outrageous. But if we give All Might some support, we'll send him packing, no problem. Agreed Weird Hair. But there is something going on. No, said All Might, sticking his hand out. Please escape. If I hadn't come to support you earlier, you'd have been in real trouble. Snapped Icy Hot. All Might, said Deku. You're bleeding, and shouldn't you already be out of Taiha? Right you are, young Todoroki, said All Might, distracting me. And thank you, but it'll be okay now. All you need to do is watch a pro show you how it's done. Namu, Kurogiri, said Shigaraki. Kill him. I'll deal with the children. Let's clear the game and end this level. He was running straight at us. He's coming, said Weird Hair. Brace yourselves. Before we know it, All Might had met the brain villain's punch head-on with a giant shockwave throw punch. I told you before, said Shigaraki, turning back to All Might. He has shock absorption. Yeah, what about it? Replied All Might. And he kept on going, hitting that creature with so much force that we could feel it in our bones. A hero is someone who smashes through every obstacle life puts his way. He's injured ... He's injured because he had to save me. Because I didn't move fast enough. And now he's throwing himself into some real trouble, all to protect us. Because of. You may have heard these words before, but I'll show you what they really mean, said All Might. Go beyond, plus ultra. And with that, he blasted the 𝗏𝗲 with a final blow that threw it through the glass ceiling and into the sky. I couldn't quite believe what I'd just seen. What is this, a comic? Cried Weird Hair. It's like he pounded the shock absorption right out of him. He must have been punching him so fast he couldn't regenerate, I murmured, still in shock. So this is the world of the pros. Through the smoke, we heard him say I really have gotten weaker. In my heyday, 5 hits would have knocked that guy out. But today it took more than 300 mighty blows. He turned to face Shigaraki. Now then, villain, let's end this. Shigaraki was looking pissed. You cheated. You've gotten weaker. Liar ... We're totally overpowered ... How dare you lay a hand on my 𝗏𝗲. You cheated. You're no weaker. Did he ... Did he lie to me? The weirdo was scratching his neck like crazy. All Might told him, still grinning, what's the matter? Where'd your bravado go? What happened to clearing the game? He asked Shigaraki. Try it if you can. That's All Might for you, said 𝐈𝐴. Looks like we're not even players anymore. Midoriya, said Weird Hair to Deku. We really ought to be drawing back now, otherwise we might end up getting used as hostages. Deku was standing there, the closest of us to the mist, and he wasn't moving. Running ... Even if All Might can handle those idiots. Still, All Might's been injured. He was hit by that 𝗏𝗲 trying to save me ... What if he's actually in trouble? Well, what are you waiting for? All Might said, trying to reassure us. Shigaraki was still manically scratching himself. If only 𝗏𝗲 were here. If it were him, we'd be able to face him without one iota of pressure. Tamura Shigaraki, said the mist villain, calm yourself. If you look closely, you can clearly see the damage the 𝗏𝗲 succeeded in dealing him. It would appear the children are frozen in fear. It's true that reinforcements will appear soon. But I suggest, Shigaraki, that if you and I combine our efforts, there might still be ample chance to kill him. Yeah, said Shigaraki, ceasing his scratching. You're right, completely right. After all this trouble, how could we fail to defeat the final boss? They could talk big, I decided, but All Might would be able to handle him. He's the hero who never loses. I turned away to head to the gate, and 𝐈𝐴 and Weird Hair trailed behind me. Let All Might handle the big guys, said Weird Hair. We gotta go see about the others. Midoriya, said 𝐈𝐴. I followed his gaze. Deku was still standing there. He hadn't moved or come with the rest of us. Above any other consideration, we must avenge 𝗏𝗲, screamed Shigaraki, running straight at All Might with one hand extended, prepared to seize him. We couldn't even follow him. He moved so fast ... He was in between All Might and the mist guy before we'd even registered the blowback from his jump, extending a fist towards the mist villain's armor. 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝐴, yelled Weird Hair. He was flying through the air with his legs flapping behind him like broken splinters. He yelled like some kind of maniac, let go of All Might. As he reached the mist, Shigaraki's damn dissolving hand came through it, extending towards his face. A few more seconds and he'd be dead. Be dead, they'd be. Deku would be. Bang! A bullet went straight through Shigaraki's hand, fired from the doorway. So they've finally arrived, said All Might. We're regrettably late, called the principal's voice. I came back with all the people I could scrape together. The staff of UA High, about a dozen pro heroes. We found out what happened later on. Glasses got out through the front doors and went to fetch the teachers, let him know what was going on. They came ... It's game over, we heard Shigaraki ranting. Back to the drawing board, Kurogiri, he said to the mist villain, retreating into the mist as if to escape. But then, the force of 13's black hole began to draw them both inside. Still, even with that quick action, I had a feeling it was too late. For the time being, we've failed. We heard Shigaraki's voice through the mist and noise. But we'll get you next time, symbol of peace. And on that grace note, he and the mist villain disappeared. Deku was lying on the ground, unable to walk. Both legs broken, probably crying, seconds away from death. He just ... He just jumped into danger, out of nowhere, to go and try to what? To save All Might. The symbol of peace. Didn't he understand the #1 hero wouldn't need saving? It almost looked from where we were standing like Deku was talking to All Might, though we couldn't see him through the mist. 𝐈𝐴 was looking at the doorway. He said, if they all just came here, then that must mean the villains didn't attack the entire campus. Meanwhile, Weird Hair was running towards Deku. Midoriya, you all right? Kirishima, wait, yelled Deku. Before Weird Hair could make it to Deku, a giant cement wall burst up in between them. We want to check all the students for injuries, said the low, gruff voice of a familiar pro. So we'll have everyone gather in front of the gate. Leave the injured to your teachers. The square-faced pro with the power to create and manipulate cement, 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝐴, had arrived. Yes, of course, Roger, said Weird Hair, heading back to rejoin me and 𝐈𝐴. With that, we left the plaza, and before long, the USJ, 16, 17, 18 ... Not counting the kid with the crippled legs, everyone's pretty much unharmed, said the leading officer on the case. Class 1 was gathered outside the USJ in police custody. The extras were babbling around me a whole bunch. For the time being, continued the officer, you all need to head back to the classroom. We can't just go straight into police questioning. Naturally, sir, said Frogface. How is Mr. Aizawa? The teacher'd been fighting for us back there. His arms are riddled with commented fractures and he's suffering from facial fractures. Thankfully, out of sheer luck, he didn't receive any brain damage. It's just ... well, the bones around his eye sockets, his orbital floor, have been crushed. There's a chance it might adversely affect his eyesight. Or so I've been told. What about 13? Asked Raccoon Eyes. I fear their upper arms have sustained serious lacerations. That being said, their vitals appear to be stable. The same goes for All Might ... He's not in critical condition either. He's being brought to the infirmary to be given adequate treatment by Recovery Girl. And Deku? Asked Roundface. How's Midoriya? Said Glasses. Midoriya, oh, he seems he's fit for the infirmary too. I have business to attend to there as well. Damn nerd always getting into trouble. He'd better not be all messed up. The police officer turned to his second in command. Sansa, you see to the rest. The principal said we have to focus on fortifying our security across the board. The next day, school was temporarily closed, but it didn't take long for things to get back to normal. All right, listen, yapped Glasses. It's time for this morning's homeroom period. Take your seats, everyone. We are in our seats, said Tape Arms. The door opened and Mr. Aizawa came in, covered in bandages. Morning, class. Mr. Aizawa, you're already back. Everyone cried out. Sensei, you're all right, asked Glasses. Can you really call that okay? Said Roundface. Don't worry about me. After all, the battle hasn't really ended for you yet. The battle? I asked. You don't mean, said Deku behind me, all healed up from the USJ. More villains, cried Grapehead. The UA Sports Festival is approaching. A sports festival? Keep forgetting this is an actual school, shouted one of the extras. Wait, hold up, said Ballhead. That sounds like something villains would try to infiltrate, isn't it? Will it be all right? Stupid chattering moron. Hasn't he ever seen the sports festival? On the contrary, replied Sensei. Since we're going ahead with the festival, it means the school is confident it has its ducks in a row when it comes to crisis control now. I hear police presence will be 5 times bigger than normal, for example. What you should be thinking about is what a huge chance the sports festival presents for you all. This isn't some event that'll be brought to a halt by the likes of villains. Why not? Quacked Bullhead. It's just a sports festival. Minda, said Deku. Have you never seen the UA Sports Festival? Of course I have. That's not it. Ballhead whined back. Aizawa-sensei continued. Our sports festival is one of Japan's biggest events. Long ago, the Olympics was the sports festival that whipped the nation into a froth of enthusiasm. But now the extent and population have shrunk and it's lost a lot of substance. So what has taken the place of the Olympics in Japan is the UA Sports Festival. The country's top heroes are all sure to be watching us, said Ponytail. It's because they'll be scouting for us. I'm thinking I might follow the tactic of going sidekick for a pro heroes squad after graduating, said Dunceface. But there are loads of people who get stuck as sidekicks forever and miss their chance to break out as solo heroes, Ears told him. And you seem just that kind of dumbass, Kaminari. Made me want to snicker. Naturally, said Sensei. Entering a famous hero team will get you higher status and more experience. Remember, time is limited. If you get noticed by a pro, that gives you the standing for a brighter future than otherwise. This is the chance you'll only get once a year, for a total of 3. If you're aiming to be a hero, this is an event you can't overlook. Yeah, that's it. This is my time, I thought to myself, grinning. A few days later, a ton of extras from other classes had started crowding the door to class, blocking Deku's group, him, Glasses, Ballhead and Roundface, from getting out. What the heck? Shouted Roundface. What are they crowding the exit for? Asked Bullhead. They're scoping out the competition, idiot. I told him, walking through Deku's group while he trailed behind me, apologizing to Ballhead. Sorry, that's him in neutral mode, like he was my secretary or something. They want to see the gang who came through the villain ambush, I told them, walking through Glasses and Roundface. They're checking us out before the big battle. I took a survey of the crowd of plain faces. It's pointless to try, so why don't you just fuck off, extras? Don't go calling people extras just because you don't know who they are, shouted Glasses. A grumbling voice came through the crowd. I came to see what you kids are made of, but I didn't think you'd be this arrogant. A tall dude with spiky purple hair and dark under-eye shadows pushed his way through to the front of the crowd. Are all the kids in the hero course like this? I'm a bit disillusioned. So that's it, huh? There's lots of kids who wind up in the general education department or other departments because they failed the heroics one. Did you know that? And based on the results of the sports festival, people can be even come under review to be transferred to heroics. And the reverse is also possible. Scoping out the competition. A general ed kid like me is thinking, hey, why don't I try pulling the rug out from under those heroics kids while they're on their high horses? Consider it a declaration of war. Another extra with spiky gray hair and eyebrows that went around his entire eyes pushed his way through too. "Hey, you, I'm from Class 1B. I heard you knocked around with villains or whatever, so I came to hear it direct. But I don't want to hear from some snot-nosed punk. Don't embarrass us during the main event. You hear me?" I could feel Deku and his squad watching me from behind, waiting to hear what I'd say. Wasn't anything to say. I headed out the door. "Wait a second, man," shouted Weird Hair. "What did you just do? Now we're gonna get haters." "It doesn't matter," I told him. "None of that matters once you're at the top." And with that, I headed out. No need to spare those extras another second of my time. I had to train and prepare. Get ready to crush those extras into the dirt and show the world that I'm the best of the best. "Everyone, are your preparations complete?" yelled Glasses. "We're set to enter very soon." Our class was gathered together in the waiting room of the stadium. As everyone was gathering their wits and preparing to leave, Midoriya, Icy Hot, had walked straight up to Deku, who was standing with his usual group. "What is it, Todoroki?" he said, looking real nervous. I watched them. What was this about? "On an objective basis, I think I'm above you in terms of practical strength," said Icy Hot. "Well, duh," Deku replied. Yeah, you've managed to get All Might's eyes on you, right?" asked Icy Hot. "I'm not prying into that, but I'm going to beat you." "What? Beat him? You're going to beat Deku?" "Deku, All Might's favorite. Deku the rival? How's that possible?" "Oh-ho?" asked Dunceface, who was sitting next to me. "What's with this declaration of war from the strongest kid in class? What's with this belligerence all of a sudden?" asked Weird Hair, grabbing Icy Hot's shoulder. He shrugged him off. "Don't spring this on him right before I'm not here to play nice and make friends." Icy Hot snapped at him, but whatever. Deku was staring down at his hands. He was clenching his fists a little. "I have no idea what you want from me," he said, telling me all that. "You're definitely stronger than me. In fact, you probably have more potential than anyone in the hero course, looking at it objectively. Then why are you here, damn it? If you know that you're a damn loser, why are you at UA?" "Come on, Midoriya," said Weird Hair, "don't be so negative." "Even so," Deku interrupted, or rather continued. "Everyone, even kids from other departments, are aiming for the top with everything they've got." Something had changed in him now. This wasn't self-deprecation or false modesty. No. This was something else. He looked up to meet my gaze, and there was no wavering now. So I can't let myself lag behind. I'll be aiming for the top too. And now Deku was staring Icy Hot right in the face, looking completely different. All Icy Hot said back was "Oh, HNN," I muttered, irritated and mystified. Challenging Deku, "You're gonna regret that." Present Mike's voice boomed out as we walked into the ring. "Let me guess, you all came to see them, right? The fresh-formed miracle stars that shrugged off a mass villain assault with wheels of steel. The Hero Department Freshman Class 1A. The venue for the UA Sports Festival was a gigantic, glittering arena, a circular stadium with seating for cheering thousands and a broadcast geared worldwide. Deku was muttering, "So many people. Can you draw out your best performance with so many eyes?" asked Glasses. "This is another link in the hero training schedule. Wow, they're really praising us to the sky. I'm getting nervous," cried out Weird Hair. "You, Bakugou." "No way," I replied. "Just makes me more pumped." The extras joined us, class by class, until the entire freshman year stood before the podium. Now, fair play," announced the referee for our year, our teacher, the R-rated hero Midnight. Once everyone had gathered, after she'd rung us in, she called, "Now, for your player representative, Katsuki Bakugou of Class 1A. Yeah, they'd let me know this was my task today. No guidance for what I was supposed to say. Just head up to the podium and say something inspiring." From behind me I heard Deku saying, all disbelieving, "Our representative is Kaken." And Soy Sauceface saying he placed first in the entrance exam, remember? "Yeah, you better remember it, Deku." I made my way up to the podium and the microphone. "Sensei," I said, "I'm gonna place first." The extras all started yelling and booing at me. Glasses yelling, Deku looking dismayed. All the class looking annoyed. "You'll all make great stepping stones," I told him. This wasn't boasting, though. I'm not up for that anymore. I need to make sure they'll come at me with everything they've got. That everyone will know that I'm the best of the best. And bringing the class in on that, well, they'd better know that Class 1 is like me. We expect the same from everyone, and we can take it. Deku was watching me and I couldn't tell what he was thinking, but it almost looked like he knew what was on my mind. I bumped his shoulder as I passed him, headed back in the crowd. Midnight said, right. With that we can move directly onto our first event. Onto the preliminaries as they're called. Lots of fine folk end up choking on their tears here every year. And this year's first round is," she pointed to a screen, and the words came up, "Obstacle race this." It's a race between all 11 classes. The course makes a nearly 4 kilometers ring around this stadium. We always sing about our freedom on campus. Well, this is what it's all about. You're free to do anything, so long as you remain within the course. So let's get cracking. On your marks. Everyone took their stance, headed for the gate. The buzzer rang. Start. And I was ready to go. The opening gate was instantly filled to the brim with extras trying to all cram though at once. I was able to get off the ground, and just in time to avoid getting frozen by icy hot. He'd been able to freeze up the doorway and strap most of the extras, but it was no trouble for me blasting out towards him. You won't get away that easily, icy hot, I shouted after him as he looked back, running out ahead along the obstacle course. I ain't buying your bluff, Todoroki, shouted Ballhead. Now why don't you swallow my killer move? Grapefruit. With a loud bang, he was swatted away and rolled across the ground. Facing us was a giant army of the 0-pointers from the entrance exam. A Robo Inferno, shouted Present Mike's voice over the loudspeakers. It's the villain bot that was worth 0 points in the entrance exam. It took Icy Hot about a minute to freeze them all solid, off their balance, and skate right past him. 1A's Todoroki has forged ahead and blocked the others in one fell swoop, called out Mike's voice. That kid's harsh. Incredible. He's removed himself from the rest of the competition. Feels kinda unfair, actually. Unfair? Huh. Just watch me, then. Mike's commentary boomed out some more. The first round's obstacle course is underway, and the goal is to run one lap around this special-made stadium's outer ring. The rules are simple and savage. Aside from leaving the course, this is a bona fide race where everything goes. The camera bots installed in each area can barely contain their excitement. You think I'd just let you take the lead? I thought as I blasted my way right over those robots. It was a hell of a rush, feeling the eyes of the world on me. That's right. Watch me and see just what I can do. And1A's Bakugou has abandoned the ground and vaulted over their heads. Clever that. I thought for sure that with your personality, you'd just try to blast your way through. Tape Arms called out behind me, but you went over them instead. Birdhead was neck and neck with him, held aloft by that weird dark thing that's his quirk. Thanks for giving me a lift, he said to it. We're landing. Dark Shadow. As expected of TH, so who've made it past. Lots are from Class A. Came more commentary as I ran all out towards the next obstacle. It's not that the other departments of Class B aren't any good, said Mr. Aizawa's voice. It's just that Class A's learned not to hesitate. They've seen what the real world holds, and they've come to know what it is to be instilled with true fear. They coped and made it out in one piece, and now their experience has become a source of encouragement, drowning out their doubt and hesitation. Say it louder so all those morons will hear it. Better be afraid. As I blasted around the corner, I arrived at the next obstacle on the track, the newest wall to climb. Almost literally. Well then, if the first barrier was a cinch, what do you think of the second? You fall and you're out. If you don't like that idea, maybe you can crawl. It's the FALLL. Tightropes course basically. It's true that they're encouraged to take the bull by the horn in any number of ways. Right, Eraserhead? What are those idiots doing just standing around? Came the musing voice of Arsene in response. Easy as hell. And you won't catch me standing around. I was blasting away across the fall. No need to bother with the ropes or the jumping course. The player in the lead is keeping it comfortably, called out Mike. I could see who he meant. Goddamn Icy Hot, running ahead. That goddamn Icy Hot bastard. I was just about keeping up with him. A little more energy, then. I was catching up to him, closing that gap. You made a mistake today, Icy Hot. The players in the lead are separated from those bunched up behind. But won't say how many are pulling odd, so don't get complacent and keep going forward. And now we come to the hidden final barrier. Its true form is none other than the minefield. It's set up so that if you look carefully, you can see where the landlines are. Strain your eyes and feet. In any case, they're landlines. Not overly lethal, but they bang big and bright. Oh, please. None of these are any problem for me. Seen my quirk at all? I blasted over all the mines. Huh. It don't mean a thing to me. I called out as I finally, at last, passed Icy Hot. Yo, I told him, looking back to show him just what a mistake he'd made. You think you might have issued your little war declaration to the wrong person? That's right. Not Deku. I'm your rival, and the lead has been upset. Rejoice, mass media. This is just the sort of development you crave. Why, even those who are trailing behind are putting on spurts. However, while they're pulling each other back, we effectively have two kids in the lead. Icy Hot was trying to grab me, as if thinking he could just seize my arm and toss me out of the way. He'd even activated his damn quirk to try and freeze me. No way in hell, Icy Hot. But come at me with all you got, and I'll still beat you. Bang, this wasn't one of the mines going off. The sound behind us was an explosion about the size of my own maximum. A gigantic blow-up like someone had set off a real bomb. A giant explosion near HD entrance. Why was that bang so big? Was it his plan or sheer coincidence? I turned to stare. What the hell was going on? A test door, and then I saw him, holding onto a metal sheet, something he must have torn from the robots earlier, flying on the explosive wave high above the heads of everyone else. I couldn't quite see his face clearly, but I could still tell. That crazy look was in his eyes. Class A's Midori mounts his charge using shock waves. Mike shouted. No. while I was busy trying to pass Todoroki, trying to show him up Class 1A's Midori amounts his charge. Boy does he ever. We weren't fast enough. In an instant, Deku had flown over our heads. He overtook them. The lead is his. I blasted off the ground straight at him. 𝗧𝗪𝗪, don't you dare go ahead of me. I shouted at him. I had to catch up. Gotta catch up. Got to. I could see his eyes. He was starting to lose momentum though. Falling out of the sky. I'd catch up to him in a minute. I'd beat him. No way in hell is he surpassing me. Icy Hot was doing the same, but still behind me. Catching up. Deku was still falling. No way he was winning. Some big scheme he'd popped up, but no more than that. The two who were formerly in the lead have stopped tripping each other up and begun to bolt after Midori. They say it takes a common enemy to put a hold on Strife. Though Strife will never totally disappear, right? He kept falling right in front of our eyes, collapsing as his big fancy scheme failed. Didn't come up with a landing scheme, did ya? You ain't winning this. You're not. Then he flipped over, almost like he was standing on our backs, slammed that metal plate he'd been holding onto the ground, and the mines blew up again. In no time at all, Midoriya blew dust in their eyes, and now he's cleared the landline area entirely. Damn it, Earsorhead, your class is insane. What are you teaching them? I didn't do anything. This is all the fruit of the fires they lit in each other. Damn it, no you can't. He was retreating, getting ahead of me. Even Icy Hot was moving faster. I was getting left in the dirt. No matter how fast I pushed my quirk, no matter how much I pushed myself, everything was receding, and in no time at all whoever could have predicted this outcome when the trial began. The one who returned to HTE Stadium is none other than 𝐵𝑖𝑑𝑜𝑟𝑖𝑦𝑎𝑖𝑐𝑢 𝐾𝑢, as will be a name to know. Even moving across the finish line felt hollow and pointless. Third place, only third place, Icy Hot in second, and Deku had taken first place. I'd lost to him. I held my arm, which was stiff from overuse. Again, shit, god damn it. Icy Hot was standing by me and watching Deku. Both of us were staring at his back as he stood there, absorbing all that damn praise. He was joined by Glasses and Round Face after a minute or two. Round 1, and I'd lost. Third fucking place, Midnight announced. The 42 at the top have earned the right to advance. I'm sorry for the kids who failed, who take heart. The festival's showstopper is still being prepared. And now for the post-preliminaries, the final selection. From here on out, even the press corps will team in a white heat of excitement, so go all out. Now then, on to today's heart-pounding second event. I already know what it will be, but the suspense is killing me. And what will it be? Behold, the sign displayed said human cavalry battle. You can all form 2-4-person teams freely and form a horseback configuration. Basically, it's the same rules as a normal human cavalry battle. Swipe enemy riders' headbands and guard your own, except for one thing. Everyone will receive points based on their performance in the last trial, which means the point value of each team will change based on who's in it, said Raccoon Eyes. Don't interrupt, yelled Midnight. But yes, that's right. And the number of points you're worth will be 5 points if you placed 42nd, 10 if you placed 41st, 15th for 40th, and so on, with the exception of first place, whose head is worth 10 million. Everyone had turned to look at Deku. Suddenly things weren't quite the same as before. Being number 1 was, what, a punishment? Midnight continued. Those who reach TH top merely encounter fresh new hardships, and the kids who have enrolled here will hear it countless times. Plus Ultra. The time limit is 15 minutes. The point value of each group's headband is worth the total point accumulation of each of the horse's members. The one to wear the headband will be the rider. Think of them as a standard bearer. Until time is up, you'll all be fighting and stealing as many of each other's headbands as you can. You may not equip your headband on any area besides above your neck. As more and more headbands are taken, maintaining control of the situation will become more and more demanding. And the most important aspect of the game is that even if you should lose your headband or break configuration, you're still not out of the game. Quirks are of course allowed, continued Midnight, so I want to see some fine brutality out there. That being said, this is still just a human cavalry game. If you attack any other group to break them up on purpose, that's a read card and you'll be forced to sit out the rest of the game. Alright, you now have 15 minutes. Start your team-ups. The extras surrounded me, demanding that I pick them, all shouting out, pick me, pick me. Hey Bakugou, do you mind teaming up with me? Said Raccoon Eyes. You have to team up with me, right? Said Glow Boy. Team battle? Huh. For that though, there was a bit of a problem. What are your quirks again? I asked. They got huffy and offended. Forget Class B's quirks, he doesn't even know his own classes. Is he that self-absorbed? Todoroki's already got himself a full team, shouted to Weird Hair, headed over to our group. Bakugou, let's team up. Ah, Weird Hair, I said. He looked annoyed. It's Kirishima. Remember my name, damn it. And my hair's not that different from yours. What do you say? Wanna play Rider? Who here's the one who can withstand the recoil of your explosions? After all, I need somebody with guts, I told him, unimpressed. Yeah, sure, me with my hardening. He jammed his thumb at his chest. I'll be a horse that can't crumple, and we'll definitely get those points, won't we? Then he leaned in and said softly, Midoriya's 10 million. Sounds good. Raccoon Eye's quirk was some kind of melting acid. That'd be good against icy hot. Finally, I grabbed onto Tape Arms. Our team was complete. I watched to see Deku's team. He grabbed onto Glasses and Round Face immediately, but Glasses blew him off to join Icy Hot. They were joined by some girl I didn't know and Bird Head. Now time's up. Raise your war cries and fire HD's signal, boomed Mike's voice. Let's start the countdown. 3. We've all got only one target, I said, perched atop my team's horse. 2.1. Start. All at once, every team on the field was headed straight for Deku's. In what seemed like seconds, his team went airborne. Some combination of weird support gear they were wearing and Round Face's floating quirk. Any attacks aimed at them up there got blocked by Bird Face's quirk. Not a bad strategy. But as they kept landing, it was clear they couldn't stay up there for that long. Have a look, ladies and gentlemen. Not even 2 minutes have elapsed, and already we have a melee of tumultuous proportions on our hands. Anywhere you rest your eyes. There's 2 teams vying for and stealing each other's headbands. After all, it's a fine strategy to aim for 2 ND to 4th place instead of the big 10 million. As Deku's team went airborne again, I saw the best chance for me. I blasted up off of the horse straight at Deku's floating team. Riding real high and mighty, ain't ya, you damn nerd. I called at him. Deku called Takoyami. Birdhead's shadow quirk popped up in between us and stopped my blast from hitting him. What the hell? I cried out. Tape Arms grabbed me with tape and pulled me down back to the horse. What do we see here? Kel D. Mike. The rider can detach from the horse. That's allowed. It's only a technical, so it's okay. The rider's just not allowed to plant their feet on the ground, said Midnight. Weird Hair said nice catch, bro, to Tape Arms as I landed. That's right, whether it's the first place who's being chased, row the rest of Class A. Now doing the chasing, this here's a veritable congregation of top dogs. Let's briefly confirm that by checking their point values. There was a gasp. Whoa, damn, just 1 gash second. You mean Class A aren't taking it by a mile? Well, apart 𝗵𝗲 Midoriya and Bakugou, you what happened? My headband slipped from me. Grabbed me some punk from Class 1B. We've been had, cried Raccoon Eyes. Like taking candy from a baby. Class A, said the rider. What the fuck? Fucking piece of shit, give it back. I shouted. I'll kill you. The blonde rider looked awfully smug. I wanted to fucking punch him. The minute Midnight called a first event the preliminaries, don't you think it would have been strange to assume they'd thin the herd drastically? Obviously there would be more events. Think about what would have been the rough number of places they'd advanced to the next round. In that race here, nobody could let themselves fall below the passing line. It had to have been around 40 or so for this to be a festival. The whole event was just a chance to observe the quirks and personalities of one's rivals from the rear. Anybody with a brain would have aimed not for first place, but for a more measured excellence, don't you agree? The whole class is surrounding us, cried out Weird Hair. Well, it's not as though we were all in total agreement or anything, but it's a fairly good plan nonetheless, wouldn't you say? Said the blonde boy, instead of scrambling for some dumb strictly temporary point summit like dangling carrots over horses. Come to think of it, you're already somewhat famous yourself, aren't you? You're the victim of the sludge incident. Tell me all about it next time. How it must feel to be attacked by villain every year. I felt it boiling up. The rage, the outrage, the sheer damnable outrage and frustrating from everything that had been piling up so far. Kirishima, change of plans. Before Deku. Let's send these goddamn shistons to some early graves. Quit getting them so riled up, Monoma, said some redhead ponytail from Class 1B. We're all sharing the same arena here. You're absolutely right, smirked the stupid blonde shitrag. How unhero-like of me. I'll heed your words. You always hear about those heroes who spark grudges in villains and get attacked in reprisal. You implying I'm some kind of villain asshole? My breath was starting to come in real fast. Get it together, Bakugou, yapped Weird Hair. If you don't calm down, we'll never be able to take those points back. I slammed my fist into my hand with an explosion at the ready. Push forward, Kirishima, I told him. Right now I'm mad fucking calm. Please, dude, we gotta do this right. He begged. We headed in for the kill on Blonde Ahole's team and I threw an explosion at him. Somehow the idiot managed to dodge and parry, and then threw an explosion right back at us. Wow, amazing, he cried. This really is a nice quirk. My quirk, I said, thinking it through quickly. Bakugou, they're pasting your power, said Weird Hair, stating the fucking obvious. I threw another explosion at Blondie and he somehow dodged it again. Though my quirk is better, he said, smirking, pissing me the fuck off. My quirk too, said Weird Hair, still not getting it. They're taking everything. That ain't it, I snarled at him. This guy has a fucking copy power. Correct, smirked the blonde. Well, I suppose even an idiot would get it right away. Another kid from Class B vomited up some kind of glue onto the ground beneath our feet, in between us and the blonde. Bondo, he cried, so you've come to fight. Monoma, said one of the blonde's horses, all we need to do now is keep away. With this score, we'll be within the top 4 for sure. It hardened crazy quick. I can't move, cried out Weird Hair. Hold on, I can dissolve it, said Raccoon Eyes, using her acid quirk to break through the glue shit. Quirk, we're at 0 points, said Tape Arms. Don't get mad, said Monoma as he rode away. You're the one who fanned the flames, remember? What was it you said at commencement again? That embarrassing line. Ah well, no worries. Take a nice rest. I felt the rage build up and seethe within me. I'll be the number 1, I told him, feeling that motivation return, that determination. And it won't be just any first place. I'm gonna be number 1 by annihilating everyone. The announcer chimed in right then. There's only about a minute left, and Todoroki has set HD field. All that's left now is taking those 10 million points. It'll be swiped in an instant, or so I might have thought 5 minutes ago. But Midoriya has kept away during all that time, even in this constricted space. That's right. If Deku's still in first place, no way in hell am I letting this idiot give me trouble. I felt that announcement push me off of the horse and straight at the blonde idiot's team, right towards those headbands around his neck. Wait, I said wait, yelled Weird Hair. My, you lot or something else, said Blondie. Forget heroics. That persistence is unbecoming as he'd wasted time talking and given me a chance to get in close. Subaraba, guard. He yelled at one of the extras underneath him, who blew up some kind of sphere of hard air. I kept punching at it, until I got through and grabbed the headbands right off of Blondie's neck. And with those 2 headbands, Team Bakugou has shot back up to 3 RD place. Even in this final stretch, the scoreboard's in a lively flux. Ah, to be young again. Tape Arms had pulled me back to formation. We told you to warn us when you jump, he reprimanded. But at least now we'll definitely place high enough, said Weird Hair. Like some kinda lame-ass extra. It's not enough, I corrected him. I'm gonna be number 1 and leave a bound of bodies in my wake. If I go it alone like just now, it won't be enough. Now go. We're gonna get our points back too. And then it's on to the 10 million. And I had a plan of how to get it. Yo, soy sauce face, Tape. I told him. It's 0, he said, but did what I told him to. Raccoon Eyes. Cut off their way forward with your acid. Mina Ashido, she said, but followed my order. We flew towards that idiot blonde's horse, and in no time at all I'd swiped the rest of his headbands, leaving them with nothing and us with everything. Next, Deku and Todoroki. I reminded em as we headed back towards the ice prison. We'd made 2nd place, but that wasn't all. We're taking number 1. Deku's 10 million. Or maybe Icy Hot's. The announcement I'd missed, but it sounded like it had said Icy Hot had gotten the 10 million. It's nearly over. Now for the countdown. Everybody say hey, cried Mike's voice. I started blasting through the ice wall. 10, 9, 8. I made it in to see that Deku and Icy Hot's teams were facing off. Icy Hot's team didn't seem to be moving at all, while Deku's was cheering straight at him. 7, 6. Which one has it? Which one, damn it? 5, 4. Deku or Icy Hot? Which one had the 10 million? The scoreboard. Icy Hot was in first. He had it. I headed towards him. 3, 2, 1. Time up. I hit the ground, with no headband. No victory. Now we shall see who our top 4 are. In first place, Team Todoroki. In 2ND, Team Bakugou. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Second place, damn it, damn it. In third place, Team 𝗂𝗧. It's Team 𝐶𝐼NSO. Even beating Deku wasn't enough. Damn it. And in fourth place, Team Midoriya. Last I'd seen the scoreboard, they had nothing. But at the last second, they'd grabbed something from Icy Hot. So Deku was in the final round too. Still there. The first 4 teams will move on to the final event. Now step forward. The event will be after an hour's lunch break. See you today-chan. As I watched, Icy Hot went up to him. It looked like he was asking him to go someplace private to talk. I'd missed some of the lunch break. I thought about it for a second, but no way was I letting them go off and talk in private without me. Deku and Icy Hot had gone off into a corridor together. I hid behind the wall to listen to what they were gonna yap about. You wanted to tell me something, said Deku first. What is it? Then after a long pause, if we dawdle, the mess hall will probably get really crowded. Finally Icy Hot said something. You blindsided me, so much so that I broke my own pledge. Ida, Kaminari, Yaoyorozu, Tokoyami, Uraraka. None of them felt it. Only I did in that moment. After all, I was the only one there who had seen All Might's power up close. Weird place to start. Deku replied, so, what is it you want to say? I'm saying that what I felt from you was the same. It felt similar. Midoriya, are you really All Might's secret love child? What? I thought for a second. That's what Icy Hot was thinking. That's why he went up and challenged Deku. Is he an idiot? I mean, I knew that wasn't true. I'd met Deku's dad before. No way in hell were he and All Might related, right? He'd have told me wouldn't ... no. He'd been keeping secrets from me before ... but no way, no freaking way. Why, you've got it wrong, Deku replied to Icy Hot. Well, of course, that's exactly what a secret son would say, so I get it if you don't believe me, but I swear that's not it. Actually, can I ask, why are you? I mean, why me the way you said that's not it? Icy Hot cut him off. In other words, you do have some connection to All Might that you can't talk about. Whatever that might be. My father is the hero Endeavor. You must have heard of him. He's been the number 2 hero forever now. If you're connected to the number 1 hero, then that means I have even more reason to beat you. My old man will do anything to advance his position. He made a name for himself during his hero career, firing on all cylinders. But it was never enough to outpace All Might, an unremovable might in his eyes. And because he knew he could never hack it by his own power, he devised a plan. What are you talking about, Todoroki? Said Deku. What is it you're telling me, exactly? You know about quirk marriages, right? Icy Hot asked. After the phenomenon started, it came into the picture during the 2nd, 3rd generation, choosing mates solely to enhance one's own quirk, to be inherited down the line, and forcing marriages for that purpose. They were simply treated as old-fashioned arranged marriages. As a man of means and merit, my old man easily ingratiated himself to my mother's family and got his hands on her quirk. All he wanted was to raise a hero to surpass All Might. Damn him, I'll never be a tool for that scumbag. In my memories, my mom is always crying. I remember she called my left side unbearable before she poured boiling water on my face. The reason I challenged you is for the personal triumph. I won't use my damn old man's quirk. I'll become number 1 without needing to. It'll be my total disavowal of him. It was like feeling my stomach drop out of my body. I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing. Of course, I'd heard of Endeavor, the number 2 pro, always second best after All Might, always trying to surpass him. He was a fire quirk user, and he was strong and all, but nowhere near All Might's level, so I'd never paid him any attention. He'd been trying to surpass All Might forever, but I had no idea. Nobody had any idea. Nowhere had I ever heard this or anything like it. I'd known Icy Hot was his kid, but I'd never thought that. Never noticed that he seemed to use his ice and only his ice in combat. I mean, it had seemed strange that his dad was a fire user, that he had a half fire power ... he had fire but never used it, but I just figured it was because he couldn't. Like he only had heat to counteract the ice or something. Not this. Never would I have guessed something like this. Is that what trying to be the number 1 will do to a person? I heard Icy Hot walking away. If you can't tell me anything, that's fine. Keep your secret. I'll climb over you using only my right side. Sorry I took up your time. Deku finally replied. I've always had help with everything I've done. That was true earlier too. The reason I'm standing here is because someone always saved me. All Might. I want to be like him, and I need to become strong enough to accomplish that and become number 1. It may seem like a trifling motive compared to yours, but all the same, I can't lose. Not only for myself, but to pay back the people who have helped me along the way. So I'll take that declaration of war of yours and echo it. I'm going to beat you too. The words were so strange, because at least half of it sounded just like I'd always felt. Ever since I was a kid, I only ever wanted to be like All Might. And Deku'd admired him too, I'd noticed, but like he'd ever be anything like him. But now with that damn quirk and everything. And it occurred to me that with that quirk Deku had, and that determination that's always wigged me out that he's got, maybe you will be Icy Hot. No, you definitely will. If he's holding back half his power, then he's half-assing it anyway and hardly serious about trying to be number 1. He's too busy with his stupid grudge to even pay attention to the match or to his rivals. Too busy hating his old man to see what's in front of his face. Well, I don't need to compete with someone like that anyway. Deku's declaring war on Icy Hot was declaring war on me too, then. I was going to beat him, no matter what. That was the one thing I truly knew. Before we get started with the final event, there's good news for those who dropped out of the preliminaries. In the end, this is still a sports festival, so to have everyone continue to be able to participate, we've got some recreational events in store. Just look how fired up those cheerleaders we called from America are. What's this? What are they even? What happened, Class A? Somehow the idiots had tricked the girls in our class intro dressing up like cheerleaders. Once that idiocy was over, the real tournament started up again. All right everyone, compete your hearts out. Recreation, said Mike, and after that the final event. From the 4 teams, 16 individuals have made it through. It's a tournament. We're pitting them against each other in one-on-one combat. So it's a tournament, said Weird Hair. We'll be standing on the same stage we see on TV every year. Oh, was it a tournament last year, too? Asked Raccoon Eyes. I forget. The system changes a bit each year, said Tape Arms. But typically there will be similar one-on-one competitions. Last year it was more of a sports Chanbara style event. All right, said Midnight. Now I'll determine who fights whom through this lottery. Once the matchups are decided, we'll do a fun bit of recreation and then we'll commence. Whether or not the 16 who will be competing want to join in on the recreation activities is up to you, since I'm sure many of you will be wanting to take a breather or preserve your strength. So starting from the team that placed first, let's determine the order. Excuse me, sorry, said the tail guy from our class, raising his hand. I'm sitting this one out. Ajiro, why? Cried everyone. This is the place to show yourself off to the pros. Truth is, I don't remember anything that happened during the human cavalry battle up until the very last seconds, he admitted, probably due to that guy's quirk, the guy who'd been leading his team. I know it's my big chance, and I know it's stupid to throw it away, he continued, but this is the place everyone earned by clashing at their full power. I wouldn't feel right standing among you without even understanding how I got here. I just can't do it. Don't worry about it, said Invisible Girl. As long as you get results at this stage, it's fine. Yeah, it's not as though I put in the most stellar performance either, said Raccoon Eyes. You don't understand, said Tail. This is my pride we're talking about here. I can't stand the thought of it. Also, why are you girls dressed like cheerleaders? I don't remember what happened either, said a boy from Class B. I want to abstain too. No matter how strong he may actually be, for a person who didn't sow anything to rise up would defeat the point of the festival. Man, you guys are super manly, said Weird Hair. How callow, said Midnight. I'll have you know that greenhorns like you ... get all my love. I hereby recognize Shota and Ajiro pulling out. I admitted they had a point, though I wouldn't have done it in their place. 2 extras from Class B were transferred in, and the matches were announced. My name was at the end of the bracket for round 1. I was fighting Uraraka. I asked, who's that? I heard a gasp not far behind me and recognized the voice as Round Face's. I glanced at her and saw she was looking at me and looking real nervous. Oh, right, I remembered. Round Face's name was Uraraka, the one who always hung around Deku. So that was my opponent. I remembered she had some kinda screwing up gravity power, and hanging around with Deku all the time. During the battle trial she'd just listened to his orders. Basically she was like Deku's little sidekick or puppet or something. So really, it's more like I'm fighting him, I thought, glancing to see where he was. First match of round 1, fighting some extra whose name I didn't know. And in the same bracket, Icy Hot, fighting Tape Arms. So round 2 would be Deku and Icy Hot. From what I'd seen before, Deku would probably be beating that idiot if he was only gonna use half his power. And nobody else in his bracket, or mine, looked like any kinda challenge. All just extras. Guess we'll be getting our rematch here then, I thought, and steeled myself. This time I'm gonna beat you. On national TV, in front of everyone. So don't hold back anything, you got that? I didn't say it to him though, because I got the feeling this time I wouldn't have to. Okay, let's put the tournament on hold for a moment and enjoy some recreation. Even though he said that, it was hard not to feel really stressed. I spent my time alone, outside by the trees. It hardly seemed like any time had passed. Hey guys, are you ready? We've got a bunch in store for you. It's here that you will brawl, came Mike's commentary. We all gathered in the bleachers. Deku's match. Round 1. What's with that face? You did well up to now, didn't you? Hero course Izuku Midoriya. You haven't done anything notable yet. General education, Hitoshi Shinsu. The rules are simple. The scuffle is won by ringing your opponent out, rendering them unable to move, or getting them to say I give. Feel free to wound. We have Recovery Girl waiting in Tay Wings. I hope you've left your sense of morals at the door, though you're not allowed to endanger each other's lives. Now let's start. As soon as he started, Deku said something to the weirdo he was fighting, some extra with purple hair, and then just stopped moving. As soon as HDE match opened, Midoriya came to a stop. P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, Helvetica, he isn't moving an inch. He's just standing there gaping like a moron. Could it be Shinsu's quirk at play? Even though he hasn't made any impression at all up until now, could it be that he's scary? Divided by PP class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, Helvetica. That's why I've been saying that the entrance exam is illogical, commented Mr. Aizawa. Looking at their data, I pulled their files. Shins failed the practical skills exam, but since he applied for the general department, he probably expected as much. So, despite the fact that his quirk is a force to be reckoned with, he couldn't earn any points due to its particular rules. Span class equals Apple converted space, spam. P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, Helvetica. Whatever Shinso said to Deku, it made him turn around to walk out of the ring. divided by pp class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 𝐔𝐬𝐽 said Mike, divided by pp class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. That's the kind of shit they would talk about Deku, cause they didn't know him like I do. Even as he kept walking towards the edge of the ring, I was pretty sure that he was planning something, and the brainwash guy was clearly completely taken in. Then a giant blast of wind came gushing out of his hand, leaving his fingers broken, and Deku stopping just short of watching class equals apple converted space spant p class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. With the mid-area, he came to a halt. Span class equals apple converted space spant p class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. Brainwash looked freaked out, but Deku had clapped his hand to his mouth to avoid answering him again. From the looks of things, he had to reply to something Brainwipe said in order to be taken under control. He ran at Brainwash then, and started shoving him straight out of the ring. Brainwash started punching him and struggling to push him back, but then Deku turned around, grabbed him and judo tossed him over his head, like he'd done to me before in the battle class equals apple converted space. Spant p class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica 𝐬𝐴 out of bounds. Announced midnight. Mid-area, you advance to round 2. Divided by p class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. Bit of a no-frills battle to start the tournament off, but clap your hands and give these two a round of applause. You fought well, boys. Divided by pp class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. He used that same move on you before, huh? Said Dunce Face, trying to elbow me in the ribs. I told him to shut up. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 was trying to use some baiting tactic, and that brainwash guy fell for it. Divided by m better be careful, I thought. I'm not gonna fall for that again. Divided by pp class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. Next up was Icy Hot versus Tape Arms. Couldn't say I thought much of Tape Arms class equals apple converted space. Spant p class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. Sorry to keep you waiting, folks. Next up it's Taste 2. He's turned in an excellent performance to make it this far, and yet what's with that plain face? Does it come off? Hand to 𝗂𝗪 the hero course versus the one who stands at HD top of the top, almost too strong for his own good. From the same hero course, Shoto Todoroki. Divided by pp class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. As soon as the start bell rang, Tape Arms wrapped his tape around Icy Hot and threw him towards the edge of the class equals apple converted space. Spant p class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal font variant East Asian normal font stretch normal font size 18px line height normal font family Helvetica. A lightning quick surprise assault aiming for a ring out. Almost without a doubt the best choice he could have made. Give it your all, 𝗂𝗪. Divided by pp class equals p1 style equals margin 0px font variant numeric normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. In a second, an iceberg towering over the top of the stadium wall consumed the entire class equals Apple converted space. Spant P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵, 0. Can you move? Asked Midnight. He must have answered no, because how could he say anything else? Span class equals Apple converted space. Spant P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵, don't mind, nice try. Cheered those in the stands as icy hot to solve the class equals Apple converted space. Spant P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. So round 2 would start with Deku versus Icy Hot then. That was all I really needed to know. The others in my circle weren't anything worth bothering about. Best to start getting ready for my class equals Apple converted space. Spant P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. I learned later on that dunce face lost to Ivy hair, glasses got into round 2, bird brain beat ponytail and weird hair was tied with the class 1B extra. But I wasn't really concentrating on all the extras matches. Mine was coming up. Divided by P. P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. So, round face. I hadn't really seen her fight before, just run around taking orders from Deku in the battle trial and cavalry battles. As far as I could tell, she wasn't much good on her own, but she'd have some kind of plan handed to her from Deku. I was sure of it. No way he could resist trying to screw me over if he had the opportunity. So really, this next match was against Deku, not her. Best make sure she knew the situation when I got there, though. That she was gonna have to bring her all to the ring if she wanted to do anything against class equals Apple converted space. Spant P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. The match was about to start. As I walked into the ring, span class equals Apple converted space, spant P class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. It's the last match of HTE first round, announced Mike, the boy who's been famous since middle school, but that's not a normal face. Bakugou Katsuki of the Hero Course versus the kid I quote am rooting for, Uraraka Ochako of the Hero Course. Divided by PP class equals P1 style equals margin, 0px, font variant numeric, normal, font variant East Asian, normal, font stretch, normal, font size, 18px, line height, normal, font family, 𝐒𝐫𝐿𝐵. Am way to be unbiased, asshole. As soon as HTE match opened, Midoriya came to a stop. He isn't moving an inch. He's just standing there gaping like a moron. Could it be Shinsu's quirk at play? Even though he hasn't made any impression at all up until now, could it be that he's scary? That's why I've been saying that the entrance exam is illogical, commented Mr. Aizawa. Looking at their data, I pulled their files. Shins failed the practical skills exam, but since he applied for the general department, he probably expected as much. So, despite the fact that his quirk is a force to be reckoned with, he couldn't earn any points due to its particular rules. Whatever ● said to Deku, it made him turn around to walk out of the ring. 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲, how meek, said Mike. That's the kind of shit they would talk about Deku, cause they didn't know him like I do. Even as he kept walking towards the edge of the ring, I was pretty sure that he was planning something. And the brainwash guy was clearly completely taken in. Then, a giant blast of wind came gushing out of his hand, leaving his fingers broken, and Deku stopping just short of watching out. What the Midoriya, he came to a halt. Brainwash looked freaked out, but Deku had clapped his hand to his mouth to avoid answering him again. From the looks of things, he had to reply to something Brainwipe said in order to be taken under control. He ran at Brainwash then, and started shoving him straight out of the ring. Brainwash started punching him and struggling to push him back. But then Deku turned around, grabbed him and judo tossed him over his head, like he'd done to me before in the battle trial. 𝐴𝐵𝐵𝐺𝑖NSOU's out of bounds, announced Midnight. Midoriya, you advance to round 2. Bit of a no-frills battle to start the tournament off. But clap your hands and give these two a round of applause. You fought well, boys. He used that same move on you before, huh? Said 𝗃𝗃 trying to elbow me in the ribs. I told him to shut up. He was trying to use some baiting tactic. And that brainwash guy fell for it. Better be careful, I thought. I'm not gonna fall for that again. Next up was Icy Hot versus 𝗃𝗃. Couldn't say I thought much of 𝗃𝗃's chances. Sorry to keep you waiting, folks. Next up it's Taste 2. He's turned in an excellent performance to make it this far, and yet what's with that plain face? Does it come off? 𝗃𝗃 the hero course versus the one who stands at HDE top of the top. Almost too strong for his own good. From the same hero course, Shoto Todoroki. As soon as the start bell rang, 𝗃𝗃 wrapped his tape around Icy Hot and threw him towards the edge of the ring. A lightning quick surprise assault aiming for a ring out. Almost without a doubt the best choice he could have made. Give it your all, 𝗬𝗧. In a second, an iceberg towering over the top of the stadium wall consumed the entire ring. 𝗬𝗧, can you move? Asked Midnight. He must have answered no, because how could he say anything else? Don't mind, nice try. Cheered those in the stands as Icy Hot dissolved the iceberg. So round 2 would start with Deku versus Icy Hot then. That was all I really needed to know. The others in my circle weren't anything worth bothering about. Best to start getting ready for my round. I learned later on that 𝗃𝗃 lost to Ivy Hair. Glasses got into round 2. Birdbrain beat Ponytail and Weird Hair was tied with the Class 1B extra. But I wasn't really concentrating on all the extras matches. Mine was coming up. So, round face. I hadn't really seen her fight before. Just run around taking orders from Deku in the battle trial and cavalry battles. As far as I could tell, she wasn't much good on her own, but she'd have some kind of plan handed to her from Deku. I was sure of it. No way he could resist trying to screw me over if he had the opportunity. So really, this next match was against Deku, not her. Best make sure she knew the situation when I got there, though, that she was gonna have to bring her all to the ring if she wanted to do anything against me. The match was about to start. As I walked into the ring, it's the last match of HDE first round, announced Mike, the boy who's been famous since middle school, but that's not a normal face. Bakugou Katsuki of the hero course versus the kid I quote am rooting for. Uraraka Ochako of the hero course. Way to be unbiased, asshole. I sized up round face. Best make sure she didn't lose pathetically and make me look weak. You're the floaty one, right, round face? I asked. If you're gonna back down, do it now. 'Cause crying uncle later won't cut it. Start, came Mike's announcement. Round face started running at me, half bent over as if trying to duck. Backing down's not an option here. She yapped back at me. Fine then. I raised my right hand and threw a full-on blast at her to stop her from getting close enough to touch me and float me out of bounds. Now die, I said, as I waited, looking around through the smoke, for her to make her next move. There, her jacket sleeve. I could see it, not even trying to hide that well. Don't undersee, I started as I slapped my explosion against the jacket, with no one in it. Wow, she made her jersey float as a decoy. Yo, she must have done that on the fly. Cried out Mike. I could feel her coming up behind me, hoping to fake me out with a decoy then. I tossed another explosion at her, just in time to stop her from grabbing me. She was still standing and kept running right at me again. Too slow, I shouted, blasting her back before she could even start. Again. And once again she was coming at me, and once again I kept her at bay. I quote am still standing. She screamed, and once again I had to react as fast as possible to stop her. She's pressing on her charge without a moment's rest. But, seeing this, said Mike, she came at me again. And I blasted her back once more. Yo, you sure it's okay to let it go on like this? This looks terrible. Someone in the crowd was yelling at the ref. Hey, screamed some other pro in the crowd. Do you mean to be a hero with conduct like that? If your strength level is that much bigger, just blow her out of bounds already. How dare you toy with a girl like that? What the fuck? The pros in the crowd, the extras ... They were all yelling at me as if booing at me. Actually booing me like hecklers at a bad stand-up routine. And the stands stand to boo him, cried Mike, as the pros were yelling more and more at Bakugou. Yeah, I've gotta say I aggro. Huh, you elbowed me, what are you? His voice was cut off by Sensei, who said he's toying with her. You a pro? How many years? If you said that in your right mind, then there's no meaning for you to keep watching. Do us all a favor and go home. I'd suggest looking into another career. Thanks, Teach. Bakugou's fierceness is an acknowledgement of his opponent's strength. He knows she deserves to have made it this far, and he's staying on guard because of that. It's because he's doing everything in his power to win that he's refusing to let his guard down or stay his hand. Not yet, I thought, watching my opponent as she gathered herself for another attack. She's not dead yet. In fact, she was looking pretty sure, pretty determined. I guess this is it, she said, panting. Thank you, Bakugou. Thank you for not letting your guard down. She placed the tips of her fingers together, the gesture she used to drop things. I looked up. It suddenly was clear why she'd been keeping low to the ground and constantly attacking without rest, not giving me a chance to notice that she'd been floating every piece of the ring my explosions had destroyed and turned to fragments, floating him into the sky right above us so she could drop him right on my head. A meteor shower. 𝗲𝗏 𝐒𝐭𝐚𝐲 gonna win, she shouted as she ran right at me once again. Damn it, saw it coming. I knew she'd have some kind of plan with Deku at the wheel and still didn't notice. Completely unforgivable. But not over yet. With everything I could muster in one hand, I blew up the fragments of meteor shower falling down at me. She'd been blown across the ring, but not out of it yet. I figured you had some kind of plan, I told her. Must have been all that hanging out with Deku. He must be content with himself, with that explosive showing. 𝗲𝗏. He took 𝐂𝐴RAKA's secret stratagem and crushed it. My hand was throbbing as the fragments fell around me. Close one, I murmured. She was standing up again, ready to keep going. It was pretty exhilarating now. No more tricks and plans from Deku. Just me and her, a real opponent. A real match with someone who sure as hell wasn't holding back. That's it, I said, grinning to get ready. Psyched to face a wall. The real match starts now, 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏. That's right. You did well enough. You're good enough to call by your real name, round face. But then she was falling over. Hit the ground, overexerted. She kept trying to move, and I stayed at the ready. But she wasn't moving anymore now. Midnight was checking her. 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏 is unable to move. Bakugou advances to the next round. 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏 was taken to recovery girl and I headed back to the stands. 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏. Oh yeah, Bakugou moves on to round 2, said Mike, impartial as ever. All right, now that I've collected myself, the first round is now over. We'll get back to it after a short break. I'd won, but the whole crowd was acting disappointed and my body was in a lot of pain. Damned, there he was, standing atop the stairs and facing me. 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏, he cried. Yo, what the fuck did you think you were doing? Get out of my way, I shouted, almost by reflex. No, my match is next, so I was just gonna get ready in the waiting room. And congrats on winning ... Well, bye. How the hell could you say that? You put that damn plan in her head, right? I asked him. The plan that had her fling herself so dangerously. You caused me a lot of trouble out there. No, that's not it, he interrupted me. That plan, all of it was what 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏 came up with herself to beat you. If anyone was giving you trouble out there, it was 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏 who was tossing you around. As I rejoined the box, Tape Arms was waving at me. Said, hey, that was nearly as tough as your face's villainy, even if it was just because of who you were up against. You played an amazing heel, Bakugou, said Frogface. Just shut your goddamn mouths, I snapped, really getting sick of everyone treating me like some kind of weird enemy instead of just a fighter like all of them. But damn, man, aiming such a fragile blast at a fragile little girl with abandon. I couldn't help but hold back against 𝗧𝗏, said 𝗪𝗛�face. I sat down and put that moron in his place. Where do you see fragile? Weird Hair passed on to the next round, and then it was time for round 2 to start with them. Deku versus Todoroki. And now for this go-round of the sports festival. Both competitors are at the top of their class, and the world ain't big enough for the both of them. Todoroki versus Midoriya. I was pretty sure of how this would go at that point. Even if Deku hadn't come up with 𝗂𝗚𝗧𝗏's plan, he was still going for the top. And Icy Hot was too busy handicapping himself by using half his power to get back at his old man to go all out. Not enough to beat Deku anyway. Start. Icy Hot started off with a full blast of ice straight at Deku. With the snap of a finger, Deku unleashed a pretty staggering amount of energy, smashing straight through the ice and blasting Icy Hot back hard enough that if he hadn't set up an ice barrier behind himself, he would have indeed been blasted out of the ring. Well, what'd I say? Icy Hot. Oh, he broke right through, came Present Mike's cry. Once more, a smash, and the ice destroyed and blasted to bits. Sure, Deku's fingers were broken, but like hell that'd stop him. And there goes another, cried Mike. Another blast from Icy Hot and another snap from Deku. Damn, they started already, cried Weird Hair as he showed up in the stands again. Oh, Kirishima, heard you advanced to the second round, said 𝗪𝗛�face. That's right, and next up it's you against me, Bakugou, he grinned. I'll freaking kill you, I replied. I sure as hell wasn't sweating fighting him. Just try it. Though actually, both you and Todoroki can just blast out super huge range attacks willy-nilly, one after the other. Don't make light. I can't do it willy-nilly. Overwork your muscles, the muscle fibers will give. Run too long, run out of breath. Quirks are just functions of the body, so even those two must have limits. Even I sure as hell have a limit to how much power I can put out. That's why I have a costume to expand how big the blast waves I shoot can get. I put some real thought into that. Icy Hot struck with ice and again Deku countered. All the fingers on his right hand were done now. Icy Hot responded by attacking with a true onslaught of overwhelming ice power, closing in. Todoroki closes in without so much as flinching from Midoriya's power, commented Mike. He jumped from the ice straight at Deku, ready to move fast enough to stop him from using that power again. Punched the ground and threw more ice at him as it started to cover his foot. He seemed cornered, and this time made a fist and used his whole arm. Everything was blasted out of bounds with an explosion. 𝐈𝐴 just barely avoided a ring out with the ice, but now Deku's whole left arm was broken. One more ice blast would be enough to send him out of bounds. And Todoroki presses his relentless assault. Another freeze attack for the clinching. Smash 𝐈𝐴 was blasted back this time. Another blast from Deku, destroying the ice and nearly pushing 𝐈𝐴 completely out of bounds. Deku had used an already broken finger. He'll keep going, 𝐈𝐴. He'll break them all, and more, unless you use everything you've got. 𝐈𝐴 started running at him, meaning to close the gap, seemingly enraged, but moving much slower than before. His body must have formed frost. From looking, it's different from my upper limit. It's more like a video game's MP meter. Was the range he showed off against tape arms his maximum? Deku suddenly moved, warming up, winding up, and he punched 𝐈𝐴 in the stomach, just enough to blast him across the ring. Ew, and a bitter blow on a brittle body. Bet you all felt that one. 𝐈𝐴 was choking and coughing in pain, wrapped his hand around his stomach. He threw another blast of ice at Deku, but not as strong as before. Deku blasted again, but was out of fingers now. No way he could do anything else, it looked like. More ice his way, and Deku jammed his thumb inside his cheek and blasted off at him again. You won't be able to win this way, 𝐈𝐴. You're an idiot for holding back, whatever the reason. And Deku's the type to take advantage of that. Deku ran forward, screaming words we couldn't hear at 𝐈𝐴. He had butted him in the chest, punched him again, threw him back. Now 𝐈𝐴 could barely begin to stagger to his feet now. Deku was still yelling at him. Then, almost out of nowhere, for no reason that anyone could tell besides something Deku must have said, 𝐈𝐴 had activated his flames. I will never use his fire power. I'll show him I can be first without using it. But there they were. 𝐬𝐼𝐴. We could hear Endeavor screaming. So you've finally accepted yourself, have you? Good, excellent. Now is your true beginning. You who holds my blood, surpass me, and realize my ambition in yourself. So it was all true, and Mr. Endeavor with a very sudden pep talk. Must be quite HD doting dad, came Mike's comment. 𝐈𝐴 seemed to be crying, but he hadn't put them out yet. He was raising his hand and Deku was activating his full power. The blast from both sides going all out with everything they had was so huge that we were all blown backwards, the resulting explosion obstructing everyone's vision and leaving us to struggle to see who had won. What was that? What the hell even is your homeroom class, dude? The heat other cooled down air which then expanded. So that's how he made such a fiery wind blast. Damn, that's hot. And I can't see a thing. Just who won this match? Like there's any doubt. After all that egging on, even with the fire, Deku's, slumping against the opposite wall, pushed out of bounds, all limbs broken, and completely unconscious. Midoriya is out of bounds. Todoroki advances to the third round. You lost. How could you lose? How? That fire. You got him to ... How did you do that? What did you do? What are you? The next two fights of the first round passed away in a blur, as Deku was taken to be healed and I got ready to blow weird hair away. It was basically a kind of disappointment. I'd expected to finally beat Deku today. But then ... If Deku'd fired up 𝐈𝐴 to use his full power, then at least I'd be taking number one against an opponent going all out. This was gonna be my win. He countered. Looks like Bakugou can't land a hit against Kirishima's fierce swipes, yelled Mike as me and Weird Hair went at it. Not even phased. I thought his Weird Hair stayed hardened. He's more than just hard. Like I said, no dice. He yelled back at me. Stuck up. I kept going, kept trying, and at last it connected, cried Mike as I landed it. You're always going on about how freaking hard your damn body is. I told him off, pretty pleased. But it looks like with enough rapid attacks you start falling to pieces. And with enough blasts, I was able to blow him away. Now die. And I knew you wouldn't last in a drawn-out fight with me, I grinned. I was riding a high. Nobody was gonna stand in my way. And Bakugou advances to the third round through a downright nasty carpet bombing. With this the top four have assembled, called Mike. Next match between Glasses and 𝐈𝐴 ended with 𝐈𝐴 freezing him without using his fire. I get it. You won't use your fire unless your opponent is strong enough to make you. Damn, it hurt to give Deku real credit, but it was true enough. My match then would be against Birdhead and his weird shadow thing. It's Bakugou versus Tokoyami, folks, and Bakugou's rush 𝐴𝐴 won't end. Up to this point, Tokoyami has been able to net win after win through his nearly invincible quirk. But now he's playing pure defense. He can't let him any closer. That thing is so damned annoying, I grumbled, facing off with that damn bird thing. But he wasn't putting up even much of a fight. Not a real desperate failure though, just badly matched up. Because it was getting pretty clear, from my earlier attacks and attacking now, what his weakness was. I jumped behind him and prepared a stun grenade, enough to knock him down. So you knew somehow. It was obvious after enough hits. Well, bad matchup for you. What a pity. Checkmate. I give, he said. Tokoyami throws in the toll, and victory goes to Bakugou. Next, HDE finals will be settled with Todoroki versus Bakugou. I glared over at Icy Hot. Just one more. Just through you. When I kicked open the door to my waiting room, damned Icy Hot was sitting there. Huh, what are you doing? Crap. This is waiting room number 2. I cried in shock as I saw the name on the door. Icy Hot then just fucking ignored me, looking away like I wasn't even worth paying attention to. I stomped over to him, getting increasingly pissed. Hey, I get that I walked into the wrong room, but giving your final opponent the cold shoulder. What's the big idea? I slammed my explosions onto the table. Try and ignore me now. That, Midoriya said the same thing to me. He went out of his way to smash what was holding me back. I started back and stared at him. Midoriya Deku Izuku Midoriya. Always him. You guys were childhood friends, right? Has he always been like that? Midoriya. A bunch of annoying memories flashed through my head. Deku grinning as he tried to save me, trying to help me up from the creek. That damn nerd. Condescending and looking down on me in it. That damn nerd. I kicked the table in my frustration and it toppled over. Who the hell cares? All his stupid speeches, and you, your family, your damn feelings. Who cares? Come at me with your left side. I'll crush those flames like I do everything else. I headed out to the stadium. I'm headed for the top. I want an unquestionable victory. The time has come. The last battle. The top contender from you as freshmen will be decided here. Final match, Todoroki versus Bakugou. Ready, start. I faced Icy Hot in the stadium, and at the sound of the starting bell he let loose with an iceberg. Same kinda attack he'd wasted before on tape arms. Right out of HDE gate with that. Is he put off by the idea of a close fight with Bakugou? Will the champion be decided that quickly? Came the commentary. As if it wasn't too hard to blast straight through the whole iceberg. A strong quirk like that means his attacks aren't that precise. He might have fended off 𝗂𝗧𝗍 with an explosion and dug his way out like some kinda mole. Damn, talk about strange skills. Icy Hot was just using more ice again. It was almost like he wasn't even trying. I blasted out of the way easy, grabbed House's shoulder and head and tossed him across the ring. You looking down on me, moron? I yelled. Icy Hot surfed the ice to avoid getting thrown out of bounds. He avoided a ring out with a wall of ice. Looks like fun. I headed towards him again. I'm not gonna give you a choice. You used that fire before you're gonna use it on me too. You hear? I aimed for the left side. Use that fire. Use it. Endeavor's voice, from the stands, yelling at Icy Hot to use his fire. He didn't use it. He just tossed me away. I looked up at him, slowly, feeling rage and frustrating burning through every inch of me. I ain't good enough for that. You'll regret making a fool out of me. I'll freaking kill you. I'm taking the first to end all firsts. There's no point in winning against some half-assed punk. No point if I can't do better than Deku. So if you're not trying to win, get the hell out of my face. Why are you even here, you bastard? I held up my hands, prepared to do anything. Why won't you do it? Why won't you fight? I blasted into the air and twisted, prepping, thinking of attacks. He just stood there. Come on. What are you even doing, you idiot? Todoroki, he yelled. Deku, from the stands, standing up to do it, arms all tied up in slings. Don't lose. Come on. That damn nerd, I thought, but this time I was grinning. That's it. Icy Hot's flames came to life. Yeah, that's it. If you're gonna fight me, fight to win. Come at me with everything you've got. I readied and then unleashed it. My strongest move against that fire. Howitzer impact. I shouted the name to the attack as it launched, my hands stinging from the pain of unleashing so much force at once. Just as the impact hit, I saw that Icy Hot had deactivated the fire and was just standing there staring at the ground. As the dust cleared, I saw him lying there, knocked out. No way. No. You decided not to use your fire. With what little strength I had, I got to my feet and ran to him. Ran and grabbed his shirt collar and tried almost to make him fight me even while he was unconscious. Stop messing around. This isn't a real win unless you try harder. It can't end this way. Not like in Everything Went Black. Midnight Sensei's quirk. When I came to, my head was clouded by a rage like nothing I'd ever felt before. Something let me understand that I was the winner. And they expected me to go to get a medal. A medal. For that. WTF is wrong with you people? Don't you understand a goddamn thing? Fucking bastards tied me up in chains to a fucking podium with a muzzle over me to stop me from swearing next to Icy Hot and Birdhead in second and third. Me on some big fucking platform labeled number 1. Motherfucking what the hell, what is this? Why? Time to confer the medals. And the one who will present the medals this year is naturally none other than it is, and I am here with the medals. Divided by our hero All Might, said Midnight and All Might together as the number 1 hero led into the stands. He placed the first medal around Tokoyami's neck. Congratulations, young Tokoyami. You're a strong one. You honor me too highly. But relying on your quirk alone won't be enough to overcome a bad matchup. Hone your innate strength to open a world of opportunity. Understood. All of this passed beside me like a blur, like something away from reality. Next, All Might headed over to 𝗂𝗵𝗃 to give him his number 2 medal for that half-assed performance. You barely won against Deku, but you're in second place after that, All Might was saying. Young Todoroki, congratulations. You held back. You didn't use your left side in the final match. Was there a reason for that? It was my match against Midoriya. I think I've lost my way. I know you've taken an interest in him, and I'm starting to see why. I've always wanted to be a hero like you, but it's not like I can just forget and get over things. That's not enough. There's something I still have to settle first. Deku, damn it, always Deku, why the fuck is it always him? All Might was hugging Icy Hot then, giving him a fucking pat on the back for goddamn nothing. That's a new look I'm seeing on your face. So say no more. Whatever you must settle, I'm sure you can do it. Then he was looking at me. This is a bit much, he murmured as he unlocked the fucking muzzle. You lived up to your promise. Wonderful. All MIGHT ... This win, it doesn't mean squat. Doesn't matter what anyone says. If I don't recognize it, then that medal's just garbage. HMPH. In a world that's constantly graded on a curve, there aren't many that can keep their eyes on the top space. So accept this, even if you have to think of it as a wound, something you'll never forget. I don't want that piece of garbage. All Might slowly, inexorably forced the medal into Goddamn mouth. Come now, there we go. And there you have it. This year, it's these 3. However, take heed, folks. There was a chance for everyone in this arena to stand there. It's just as you saw with your very own eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, they competed and boosted each other up. Everyone climbing to ever high, advancing ever farther. The next generation of heroes will surely sprout from the seeds planted this day. And to that sentiment, I'll add one more thing. Everybody say it with me now. And, great work, that was such a plus ultra moment. Booed the crowd. The next day was off. It took me tons of teeth brushing to get the taste of that fucking medal out of my mouth. I wanted to choke on it. I wanted to spit and vomit until the taste of that fucking tournament was out of my entire goddamn system. All sorts papers and media everywhere I went were talking about the UA Sports Festival's winner. My own damn face on that fucking podium everywhere I goddamn went. Like a goddamn reminder to constantly flash in my face. You win because Icy Hot half-assed it. You win because Deku didn't. You win, but you didn't beat him. He's still. The extras were yapping away like crazy in class the next time we gathered, so damn excited about getting attention. Took Sensei's arrival for everyone to shut up. Mr. Aizawa, I'm happy you were able to remove your bandages, said Frogface. The old lady went crazy with her treatment, but let's put that aside. Today's hero informatics period is a little special. It's time to formulate your code names, your hero names. Everyone jumped up. Oh my god, yes. Now this is making my chest swell. Mr. Aizawa continued. This is related to the draft nominations by pros I mentioned the other day. The nominations will truly start mattering only after you've gained some experience and your adaptable fighting ability OS judged during your sophomore and senior years. In other words, the nominations you're getting this year are more akin to expressions of interest in your future potential. And it's not rare that that interest dries up by graduation, or is simply unilaterally dropped, said Ponytail. So I guess the nominations we received are like personal hurdles, then, said Invisible Girl. Yes. Now the tally of nominations is as follows, said Aizawa, pointing at the board. Second place, after Goddamn Icy Hot. Look though, first and second places are the reverse, said Dunceface. Seeing him all straight-jacketed on the winner's stand must have scared him off, said Soy Sauce Face. Pros I ain't gonna be scared. Based on this, regardless of whether or not you received any nominations, I'll be having you all go get some so-called workplace experience. Well, you've all dipped a toe in the world of the pros, unfortunately. But I think experiencing the activities of pros firsthand will prove to be more fruitful training than before, said Aizawa. And 'cause of that we need hero names. Huh, said Sugar Dude. Things have got fun all of a sudden, said Uraraka. Of course, placeholder names are fine too, but something appropriate, said Aizawa. Because if not it'll be hell from here, interrupted Midnight Sensei. The names you pick now, the names you come to be known by the world as now. In many cases they stay that way after becoming pros. Well, she is correct, said Aizawa. I'll be having Ms. Midnight evaluate your naming sense. The way your futures end up will approach the image projected by the names you choose. It's all down to that old phrase, names and natures often agree. For example, All Might. 15 minutes later, and after a ton of the extras had gone, I presented my pick, Lord Explosion Murder. I'm gonna say that one's a little too violent, said Sensei. Huh, WADDYA mean. I snapped, annoyed. She rejected my next pick too. And as I was trying to come up with a third, Deku went with his. Wah, are you sure you're okay with that, Midoriya? Said someone. Yeah, up until now I didn't like it at all. But a certain someone changed the meaning for me, and blew my word open. I was so happy. This will be my hero name. I stared at the board in complete incomprehension. Deku, what the hell? Later on, after everyone had picked their names, Aizawa said, your workplace experience will last 1 week, and where you choose is essential. For those with nominations, I'll be handing out individualized lists, so choose from what's listed in yours. As for those who haven't received any nominations, these are 40 agencies that are offering places. I'll be having you choose from those among this list. I want them in by the weekend. We have 2 days, cried Soy Sauce Face. Not that I had any doubt who I'd be going with. As soon as I'd seen the list, I'd spotted a pic from the JP Hero Billboard chart's top 10. Day of departing for workplace experience. You all brought your costumes right. Normally you're prohibited from wearing them in public areas, so don't drop them, said Sensei. Got it, shouted Raccoon Eyes. Don't stretch out your 𝗳𝗧𝗪𝐷. Make the effort to be respectful. Now move it. I'd decided on an internship with the number 4 hero Best Jeanist, the highest ranked agency on my list of total offers. The Fiber Hero, one of the all-time greats, an office in downtown Tokyo. No less, a gleaming building that looked every bit the professional hero's agency. Inside, the elevator took me to a clean, tidy office space, chairs round a circular table, sidekicks all rushing, and towards the front of the room, the man himself at a desk space. Best Jeanist, the number 4 pro hero, who wore denim top to bottom. Not All Might level, but still number 4. Bakugou from UA. You're here for your internship. He stood up, looking out the window, then turned to face me. To be perfectly frank, I don't like you very much. I'd imagine you chose me in my office because I'm one of the top 4 most popular heroes. But you're the one who made an offer for me, I asked, my brain turning over again. Yes, recently all my recruits have been nothing but good kids. So you're the first one in a long time who is a bit more ferocious. Ferocious. It's my duty as a hero to reform people like you. Heroes and villains are 2 sides of the same coin. I can see it in those eyes of yours. Over the next few weeks, I will show you what makes someone a hero. Most of that didn't make a ton of sense to me. And it's not like I could say shit back to the new boss, the number 4 hero. What the hell does that shit mean? Ferocious. Heroes and villains, same coin? How the hell is that possible? What in my eyes? What's he on about? I stepped forward, ready to protest, and found my movements blocked, just like with Sensei's scarf. All of a sudden Jeanist's fiber quirk had bound my clothes, stopping me from moving. Let's start with your appearance and manners, he said, stepping towards me as a sidekick pulled out a chair and I was forced down into it. Have you chosen a hero name for yourself yet? I tried, but all the ones I picked got rejected. I snapped. What were they? King Explosion Murder. Lord Explosion Murder. Are you a middle schooler? He replied, shaking his head. Your hero name reflects your dream, the embodiment of how you wish to be, your ideal self. You are still naive to the ways of the world, but I hope to show it to you. Once you've earned your provisional license in your 2nd year, return to me and tell me your chosen name. That left me a little thrown. I was so busy listening to him that I hadn't quite realized what he was doing to my hair, which was combing it and laying it so flat it looked like a swimming cap. I started shaking with humiliation. I have to go out like this? God no. I didn't want to imagine what would happen if I ran into Deku with this stupid haircut. And over the next few days, things only got worse. The stupid hairstyle would only stick for about an hour, but Jeanist kept forcing my hair back down every time it snapped back to the natural place. I was forced into the same pair of uncomfortable skin-tight jeans the sidekicks wore and forced to stand in line, like an extra among a bunch of extras, and say nothing while Jeanist lectured. No combat experience, and the only patrols we took were all about lecturing me on presentation. Jeanist had the sidekicks babysit me whenever any villains cropped up, and it wasn't even given any basic combat training. All the lectures he gave me were more things about coming off certain ways, more shit about villains I didn't understand. On the 4th day, all the sidekicks were buzzing about some big-name incident in the news. Some villain called the Hero Killer who'd been going around killing and crippling pros had been captured in Hasu City by Icy Hot's old man, the number 2 Endeavor. For some reason, everyone was freaking out about this, like it wasn't just some normal villain capture. The incident in Hasu City last night. It certainly worries me, said Jeanist, combing my hair flat for the 1000th time. People are so easily distracted by big incidents like these. But it's now, more than ever, that heroes need to remain calm and composed, because chaos is so often good at drawing on the slumbering brutality in people's hearts. As such, we will continue our usual operations today, just as always. Sure, Best Jeanist. The sidekicks chorused back as my hair popped back in place. I came to the wrong place, I thought, trying to fight off despair. I didn't think much about the dumb hero killer incident at first, until I remembered that Glass's brother had apparently been attacked by him. I was curious enough to pick up a paper, and one particular line made me choke. Among those at the scene of the hero killer's arrest were 3 students from UA High School, doing their internships with pro heroes, the younger brother of the hero killer's most recent victim. The turbo hero Ingenium, Tenya Ida, Endeavor's son and runner-up of the UA Sports Festival, Shoto Todoroki, and their classmate Izuku Midori. Everything else kinda blacked out. There was a small photograph of all the pros at the scene, and though nobody reading the article would have noticed them, I could see those three classes, Icy Hot and Deku. What was more, Deku and Icy Hot looked different. They were both wearing completely different hero costumes, for one thing. Icy Hot's was blue, without the stupid ice shit covering his face, which means he's actually using his fire side now, even though he held back on me. Deku's outfit looked completely different. No hood over his face, a grill around his neck, darker colors, cleaner lines, better gear. In this photograph, he didn't look like a damn nerd at all. He didn't look perennially 12 years old. His expression was deadly serious, turned slightly away from the camera as if he was looking around for more villains. The costume, and the posture he held, showed off his newly broad shoulders and a more confident stance than I'd ever seen him hold before. The costume made him look like a pro. In the grainy photograph, the freckles and soft curves of his face that usually made him look so young weren't obvious. It was almost like looking at a different person. He looks like a pro, I thought, and he's been tangled up, somehow, with a top villain for his debut. I'd spent the last week doing nothing but getting lectured and getting haircuts. And there was Deku, taking on real villains and making his debut. What the hell is this? Once again, the world seemed all wrong, and completely upside down.